narrator's note here. So, last night we had a Dungeons and Dragons game. It was to the Realm of Angamar, and our DM is Kyle. From there, we have a couple other members in the group that I believe should be mentioned, considering the fact that they're playing. So we have myself, who is... Write her name down, right? I don't know. So we have myself, Rashida Adel Salah, who is a cleric known to them. She has gone through pilgrimage, and she has a great deal of love for the faiths, but no particular faith that is tied to her at the time. We also have Falkreen, who is our dwarven young lass, and she is a bit of a naive cleric of the god Moradin. And then our final member, Nil. I don't remember the last name. Don't ask me her last name. She just calls by Nil. And she is our drunken goddess drow. Not really a goddess, but we just, that's all she does. Aside from that, Kyle plays a menagerie of different characters of the like. One of them that has joined the party is known as Akima, who is our current bard. And from the last session that we were unable to record, Akima had a dagger. The dagger is named Rendon Scaleback. At least that's the inscription that is on the blade. Session, what happened, for the most part, we all I landed in a very strange place. A place that is unfamiliar to Rashida, and as skittish as she is, she ran into Akima, the bard, and was tempted by a meal. And at that point, they met at the tavern, and the entire group eventually met at said tavern. Some antics occurred. Rashida struggled to get into some leather armor, and then started having a conversation and a get-to-know with Falkrin, and then discovered that they both love religion and faith. Soon enough, we managed to encounter an individual by the name of Captain Scarlet. And Captain Scarlet saw some form of talent in the likes of us, and so she has decided to hire us upon her ship. Don't remember the name. I failed my notes on that part. But anywho, that is where we are currently, and I hope that you enjoy the next session. Goodbye.
All right, so are we all ready?
I've been ready.
Okay. All right.
I'm only ever vaguely ready.
When we last left the party, they were all getting ready to go to sea. They had just gotten on board the ship and everything. And as we're boarding the ship, you notice that they're still loading cargo on. But basically, Captain Scarlet's trying to get you up the gangplank and onto the ship. So she invites everyone into her quarters, just, give you the details of your employment. And you notice two other individuals join you, more than likely additional hired hands. One of them is a human warrior. He's got two swords strapped to his back. Doesn't say much, stands in a corner and picks at his mustache. The other one...
Gross.
is a female elf. She has a bow strung over her shoulder, but she also has two swords, but these are belted to her sides. So everyone gathers around the table. Captain Scarlet sits down in her chair, and as you notice, this also doubles as her office. She puts her feet up on her desk and leans back in her chair and goes, "So, you lot are going to be bringing extra protection across the sea because I'm bringing a special cargo to someone in the faraway port city of Jalad. It's very important that it gets there intact, and I prefer very much not to have my ship blown out from underneath me. So, the terms of your employment are such. One," she holds up a finger, "you will fight whatever comes our way, whether it be other pirates, marauders, or sea monsters. Yes, we do encounter them from time to time. Two, the cargo hold is off limits to all of you. I have my own guard station there. I just need you up on the main deck. And then speaking of the main deck, three, if needed, you're more than welcome to help out. But if we have anything serious happen, like a major storm or something come upon us, stay out of the crew's way. They are seasoned deckhands. You are not. Other than that, the ship is yours to roam and explore. Just stay away from the powder magazine and the cargo hold, and you should be fine. Any questions?"
Rashida shakes her head.
Falcon just... No, I think that's very clear.
Nell just kind of blinks and looks up from her beer and says, "Were you saying something there, love?"
Rashida at that point face palms and just, oh my god.
Scarlet just gives Nil a slight tilt of the head and goes, "If you feel that you're a bit distracted right now, I can always have you escorted back off the ship. I need people who are dedicated to the task at hand instead of, drowning themselves in their cups. We haven't even left yet."
Oh, I work better when I'm drunk. I promise you, because I feel less. I don't really care who I kill when I'm drunk.
All right, so long as that's directed towards whoever is attacking us and not me, you shall be fine. Now, let us eat. And she claps her hands and the door opens. A man comes out. A tray is laden with obviously food taken from the mainland, multitude of vegetables, steamed meats like chicken, pork, that sort of thing, bread. He goes back into the side room and comes out with a flagon of ale, as well as a small casket, which he puts on the other side of the table and starts laying out everything and making it presentable. And then asks, "Would there be anything else, Captain?" And Scarlet just dismisses him with a wave and then indicates with a wave of her hand, "All right, feel free to help yourselves." She starts serving herself some food and pretty much allowing the rest of you to do whatever.
Rashida 100% grabs food. There's no question. There's no question in her eyes. There's just in her body language. It's just like, it was like instinct food. Just give me that. Give me that too, and that. And she's just very aggressive with the food, actually.
Nil, for once, stops paying attention to her beer and just watches Rashida in amazement. Says, that's the most personality I've seen from you since I met you. You must be quite hungry there."
She gives you a look and then shoves some bread in her face.
Jesus. The man finally detaches himself from the wall and then scoops up a plate and starts, putting a couple pieces of steamed chicken, some vegetables on a plate, and then goes back to, huddling in the corner while the elf also does the same thing. But she nods approvingly towards Nil and goes, It's very rare that we see one of the under come out to the surface. How fare you tonight?"
Are you calling me an under?
Yes.
Is that a racial slur?
I can be on top, but I don't think that's any of your business.
All right, easy there. And she puts up a hand to placate you. "I was just asking."
Yeah, well, elves are always just asking, aren't they? The drow. Just always asking in your very polite ways, pretending to be polite, but we're all the same down deep. Elves will kill anything that isn't an elf.
Okay. And then she just goes off to the same corner as the other man and joins in on the huddling. Kim looks around for a few seconds. She's put, not as much as Rashida, but you can tell she's also all about the food. And then she grabs one of the stone cups that had been brought out for the cask and then pours herself some, takes a sip and goes, "Wow, this is pretty good. What is it?" "That's honey mead from the inlands." They've got quite the stock of honey as well as the production of honey mead. It's a shame where we're going they don't have it here, but I've got plenty of barrels down below that's being brought to a local brewery in the port we're headed to.
A brewery, you say? Falcon.
Yes. What was it called again? Ah, yes, the Broken Oar. It's quite the travel location if you're looking for some place to stay or just to grab a quick drink.
I'll make some beer myself. Perhaps they might be interested in purchasing.
I wouldn't advise that. They're very snooty when it comes to their, what's the word I'm looking for? Taste in consumables. If it doesn't meet a specific standard by the brewmaster, it's not regarded. They're very snooty.
If it doesn't meet my standards, it gets washed out. Don't worry, I only give the best.
All right. I'm not going to tell you no. I'm just warning you ahead of time.
Appreciated. With that, she turns and she goes and just fills her plate with meat. She grabs like one vegetable and looks around, but just mostly meat.
Just to satisfy. Rashida minds
No,
not as she
it's
sneaks Ori a bite.
Oh yeah, I forgot you had a thing in your shirt.
Yep. He squirms around very, like, noisily, and then, like, settles down as soon as he gets food.
Nil, as she refills her beer, jumps back for a second and goes, I forgot that you feed your breast from time to time.
My, you have a way with words, don't ya?
Well, we all should.
Rashida sort of pauses and looks down at her chest and goes, well, no, I've got something in there.
Nil just stares at her for a moment. Well, to each their own. I'm certainly not one to judge.
That'd be good. Preferred.
Nil just grabs and gets more beer and bread.
Rashida
just
shoves, like,
solid.
another, like, piece of bread down her shirt, staring down at Nil.
Falgren mutters to Mord, oh, Morden, what have you brought me to?
A very
And,
hungry street rat.
As you all are, mingling and everything, there comes a knock at the door, and Captain Scarlet, who's already halfway in the process of downing a flagon of mead, finishes it, wipes her mouth clean, and goes, "What?" The door quietly opens, and a very enormous and towering half-orc shoves his way into the door and says, "Captain, everything is secured below decks. The men are ready to make for sea. Would you like to leave now or in the morning?" "I think we can leave now. Is the jetty lit?" "Yes, the jetty is lit." "Then let's heave to. Take in all lines and put out the sails." "Very well. I will inform the crew." And he leaves. But as he leaves, he looks around at the people assembled, and his eyes linger on Falkrin for a few seconds before he, finally makes his exit.
Do we like notice that he kind of lingers for a second on Falgren?
If you want, go ahead and roll a perception check.
I will also roll a perception on that.
Okay.
I've got 14.
And perception is big. Oh, I'm not used to my not Pahame sheet.
I'm so used to, like, not.
You could not do that? Oh my god.
Perception is based on wisdom, right?
Yes.
Yes, give me 1 second. Yes, it is based on wisdom. Also, give me 1 sec. Be right back.
Go ahead. I'll just linger here at the table and consume all the food.
She's just like scooping it.
You know what she does? She, like, opens her shirt and just slides all the food into it.
You just have a black hole protruding from your chest.
She doesn't know the next time she's gonna get this shit, so...
She's the only one out here really living. The rest of us, we assume we'll have food again.
All right. So what'd you guys get?
I got a 19.
14.
Okay.
14.
What'd you get? You kind of cut out there.
14.
I also got 14.
Okay. So that's 19, 14, and Jade, what did you get?
14.
Hello?
She
She
said
got a
14.
14.
14?
Okay, 14, okay. So what you all notice is that the half-orc, while he takes everything in, his eyes linger on Falcon's holy symbol for a few long seconds before he finally realizes, hey, he's being watched, and then finally departs.
Could I roll a history check to see if orcs in the past have had an issue with Moradin?
Say again?
Could I roll a history check to see if orcs in the past have had issues with her deity?
This wouldn't be so much a history check so much as you probably have to ask him, because it doesn't feel like this is what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't feel like a cultural thing. It's more like he just took random interest in it all of a sudden.
All right.
Nil noticing it does not put two and two together that it could even possibly have to do with her holy symbol, and she just eyes Falcon for a second and points some bread at her and says, "Did you fuck that orc before?
No.
They're interested in you."
I mean, I can't blame him, but I've not known him in that sense. I've not known him in any sense, actually.
I think you could pull with that one if you're into the orc thing.
I do
the
like
dwarves
him
and the
tall.
orcs.
I think he was
Oh,
more
there's
interested
already
in your
four, so.
symbol than anything, dear.
Yeah.
Symbol. You have
Oh, well, in
symbol.
that case, maybe I'll get the chance to tell him about Moradin.
What if you
Oh God.
I
you
guess
could
that's
hand him a pamphlet. I have a couple actually. She digs in her
You have
bag.
Moradin pamphlets.
I love all the gods.
Oh, I
No,
like
just
you.
stares in contempt. Oh yeah, he could have a pamphlet, or he could get fucked tonight. Oh, I'm sure he wants a pamphlet.
I mean,
That's either way, he'll have something in his hand.
don't we all crave enlightenment?
I mean, no, not really. I'm a drow. I don't like the light.
Oh, dear Moradin, guide me.
I mean, there are other gods too that you could worship that don't involve light. She starts digging in her pack again, looking for other pamphlets. Let's see, I've got a
Bill
cultist
reaches
one
across
here.
and takes her hand. She just places her hand on Rashida's shoulder and says, "Trust me, dear, unless you have something liquid in there with alcohol, I'm not very interested."
Could I roll a religion check to see if there's a god of alcohol?
Hmm?
Could I do a religion
See-
check to see if there is a god associated with alcoholic beverages?
Give me 1 second. Let me look that up. I think there is.
If I have to
Dionysus.
I refuse. I could see Seth falling into the cult of Dionysus.
I could see Seth trying to bang Dionysus.
Oh, absolutely.
Nil would kill Dionysus and take.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead and roll.
Okay. My religion. Oh man, it's bad. It's a 6.
It's a 6. Yeah. You haven't heard of anyone.
She's like, oh damn, I could have thought that I had one that he was in here. I could have sworn. Oh well. Maybe next time I'll keep looking.
No, really, it's okay. It's really okay. Promise you.
Don't worry, it's alright. You don't have to tell me no because you'll feel bad. It's alright. I get it.
No, yeah, no. I don't need any of your pamphlets, but thank you so much. Unless we can burn them for warmth. I have no use for them.
Oh, I mean, I have like a couple duplicates, but I don't think we'll need to do anything, destructive to them at any time.
Oh dear, sweet Rashida. You need to do something destructive to anything at any given time.
Well, no, I
You
don't.
you hear a sudden coughing noise as Captain Scarlet sits up and goes, "You better not be thinking of holding any destruction on board my ship while we're at it."
Well, of course not your ship. But,
I'm still sitting
given
right
that's
here,
the
lassie.
only way to save us, given that's the only way to save us, you shouldn't ever have an attachment to anything, including yourself.
What?
Don't be attached to anything. That's my religion.
So you just destroy everything?
No.
Well, if
I
that's
said
not
you
an
should
issue of
prepare.
personal issue, I wouldn't,
Be prepared to
Uh-huh.
destroy anything.
Have you
Not
lost things
destroy it.
in your past life? Or in this life?
What? Well, what things?
Have you lost things? Because it's apparent.
I mean, everybody loses things from time to time. I only have so much room in my pockets.
But do you have enough room in your heart?
Do I need more room in my heart? I mean, really, the problem right now.
Do
is
you
that
have
I
a heart?
room in my stomach for this alcohol.
No, I think she might have destroyed that too.
If I
I
had,
don't want to be attached to it, eh?
if I had a heart, I promise you, I couldn't do what I was hired to do on the ship. Couldn't
I
do the
suppose
things
that
I
means
did
that if you did have a heart, it'd just be so loving that you couldn't hurt other people. So I think what you're trying to say is you got a better heart than the rest of us.
She's just hiding it. She's embarrassed.
I think she's a softie on the inside.
I promise you I'm not. cringing.
Oh.
If it helps you sleep better, you can think that I'm quite soft on the inside, and I would love to see you endeavor to find it.
I'm pretty good at finding things, so is Ori.
And it's always
That's
best
your
to have an
food monster, right?
appreciation.
Ori's
And
your
then-
food monster, right?
I mean, if you want to see him, and then you see what looks like, and she kind of like opens her shirt just a little bit for him to like pop out, and what you see is a.
And then
Oh, go ahead. I'm
go
sorry.
ahead, go ahead.
Okay. Sorry. My bad. What you see is a small draconic kind of head that pops out with long whiskers and blue scales.
I haven't seen that come out of a lot of girl shirts.
I mean,
But I guess... What's the bard's name again?
Akima.
As yeah. Akima grabs the casket and starts bringing it around to anyone, seeing if anyone else wants some more before she, pours herself her own serving and then downs it immediately.
Mill
But
eagerly,
as she does this,
Mill eagerly held her cup up for more beer.
Falkren takes a bit as well.
of course,
And Rashida
she
actually
pours out for
surprisingly
both
does
of you. She pours out for all three of you. But somebody give me a perception check.
it. Ooh.
Oh.
Oof.
Oh.
All of these groans,
I
we know we all
got
got.
a 7.
A 7. Oof.
I got 13.
I got
13.
12.
Okay. You got a 12 and a 13. Okay. So Nell and Rashida, you notice the strange blade from earlier is sticking out of her pocket again. Same one with the strange draconic writing on it.
Okay,
But
I
if you
wrote
remember
that down.
correctly, when she put it back from removing it from her backpack, she put it into a side pocket within her jacket. So you're wondering how it got into her pocket, because if you remember correctly, she never once removed it again and then stuffed it in her pocket.
Yeah, and I also have a mention here that you told me, and I wrote this in my notes. You can tell me I'm wrong 100%. But I wrote this in my notes, and it says that I could re-roll a history again if I saw it once more.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to attempt that.
Okay.
Ah!
What'd you get?
I got, as you can tell from my reaction, a 7.
Ooh.
Yeah, you don't know much.
I probably rolled higher the last time, too.
Probably.
Statistically speaking, it
where
is
they wanna-
probable.
It's cool. You know what? Since you brought up the fact that you had notes from last time, I'm going to give you some inspiration. You can go ahead and re-roll that if you want.
Aww! I'm happy. Oh!
What'd you get?
I got a dirty 20.
Nice. Okay. I'm going to send you what it is.
I'm so excited.
All right.
I have way more energy than Rashida does. That's 100%.
I'll be right back while you guys do that. I'm gonna go grab some more cough drops.
Get it? Ooh, actually, in a little bit, I might want to grab some cappuccino.
Cappuccino.
I got this really nice cappuccino mix from Publix, and it's like white chocolate and caramel,
Ooh.
and it's really tasty.
Nice.
Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, information!
Oh, Tina, you amuse me so.
Oh, I'm so pleased.
So pleased.
Also, Tina, does Rashida understand Draconic?
Let me see if that is in her character sheet at all. Because I know there was something... Okay, so, languages. Because I think technically I only know 2. Yeah, I do not, but, I mean, if it's in writing, maybe.
Okay. I just sent you a bit more information.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. We've already all started playing, so if Mom is with Leslie, I think that Leslie's mom. I don't really know where they are. They went to go get water tested, and then I think they went to Leslie's house. The water tested from the pool. And yeah, I know, I look forward to coming and seeing you too. But I'm glad you tested positive or negative.
Nice. Oh, wow. Okay. I like that. I'm gonna save that information.
Mm-hmm. That's what a dirty 20 gets you.
I like it a lot.
It shows us how much
Excuse me.
really close proximity. Yeah, but if she
Now, okay, so okay, so their name would be inscribed on the blade. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, if that is the case, could I use a particular ability that I have?
Oh,
I'm gonna go ahead and send it to you.
tonight. I love you.
Okay.
And let me look at the ability. Just to see what the limitations are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nope, that is not what I was looking for.
Did I miss anything, or is Tina just doing research?
Research.
Oh, where's the ability itself? Because it should have... And of course my shift key decides to just like cuckoo. It's been doing that to me lately. Like I can't use symbols. It sucks.
That's annoying.
It's not a character sheet. It's character building. Maybe. Or I could just do D&D 5e and then maybe that would pop up. Okay, there's that. And then find eyes. Okay, nope. Not the right site for that apparently.
Are you looking up a specific spell?
Yeah. It's called Eyes of the Runekeeper. It's like a particular ability that I get from my class. Unless I saw that in the PDF of the main book. Ah, there we go. Okay. Pact of Black. Blah, 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 blah. There's a... Yep, there they are. Okay, let's see if it's in here. There it is. Oh, okay. It literally... What the fuck? It literally says the same thing I have on my freaking... Ah! I'm just gonna send you the link.
Trap.
And this is literally what it sends me, like, and this is just on the Roll20 portion of it. But literally all it says you can read all writing.
Okay.
And that's literally all it gives to me. And then it gives me a link.
I like that.
You have
Do you
a
know
spell
what book
like
it's
that?
in?
Here, yeah, it's on my, you know that spell app I have to do, let me see if I can, the D&D spell 5e. It's just comprehend languages. You can read all written or spoken languages.
Well, in this one, I think it's more
But it doesn't
focused.
sound as fancy. The name's not as.
Yeah, I think it's more focused on just the writing portion of it, though, because it just says you can read all writing, but it doesn't mention anything about you being able to like understand it if it's spoken. But yeah, that's literally what it gives me. So.
Yeah, the closest I have is comprehend languages.
Just let me know if that would actually work or if it's something completely different.
Okay, let's see.
I don't know,
That's fine.
okay.
Yay.
Bam. Alright. Okay. Alright, that information's written down, so now I'm going to go ahead and have this as Rashida notes. Because that was actually on my character sheet, but I don't have space.
So were you going to be using that spell, or?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were looking information
I'm
up.
oh.
There's like so much silence. I'm just like, let me give the DM some time because I feel like something's happening. The whole time you guys are waiting on me.
Pretty much.
Oh, jeez. Well, I think if the inscription is on the dagger.
It's not.
Oh,
so
it's
all
not.
of that information you remember from your time when you were in your hometown.
Oh, okay.
Because you have seen them before.
Okay. All right. Well, then that's all the information that I get. Then Rashida's just going to stare at it in interest, but not really mention anything.
Okay, so you're not going to be using the spell?
No, I won't use the spell.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, like I was only going to use it like if I actually was seeing the inscriptions.
What was that, Jade?
I said Nil is doing the same. She doesn't trust anyone enough yet to say anything or ask anything like that. So I'm gonna remember the dagger. It keeps popping up in different places.
Mm-hmm.
Clever girl.
Mm-hmm. So Akima finishes her round. She plunks the casket back down on the table. And as she does this, everyone feels the very perceptible shift as the ship itself suddenly is tied up to the docks, making its way out to sea.
Oh, fun.
The captain finishes off her 5th glass of ale, smacks the flagon down on the table, brushes her jacket off of it on their way on there, stands up and says, "Right, would you all like to get to your quarters, or would you like to watch the ship go out to sea first?" Excuse me.
I think it'd be cool to see the process.
Agreed.
You're gonna have to repeat all that. It just completely cut out everything.
No!
Like I caught the tail end of that, and I'm just like, what's going on?
No. Am I back?
I
Yeah,
can
there
hear
you are.
you. Jade?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I just said Nil is going to watch the ship too.
Okay, yeah, I think it's an agreement that all
Taking
three of
you
us
all
are gonna
going
watch.
outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I take it you're all going outside.
You can
Yeah.
hear me now,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
Yes, Jade.
Yes. Yes.
I can hear you.
Assholes. Ah! Can you hear me?
Yes!
Yes.
Yes,
Can you not
yes,
hear
yes.
us?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I might as well shut off my camera. I think
we
that'll
have
help
heard you.
Mine.
We've heard you
There we go.
this entire time. All the time. Every time.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, no, that went weird.
Okay. So the captain ushers everyone out. So the four of
Give me a
you.
second.
Okay. The captain leaves.
The captain leaves.
Captain pauses.
The DM's just like, we're fucking going outside!
Nope.
Okay. Hey. Is it working? I just came back to Tina.
I'll go the other way.
Oh my god.
Oh, really?
Oh, Falcon's gods.
Oh no,
Alright, so
God, there's only one for Falcon.
Oh, my pamphlets.
Yes. Oh, Tina's pamphlets.
oh no. Anyway, the captain ushers you all out onto the main deck.
She worships the god.
I didn't hear that at all.
Me or Jade?
Jade.
You
Okay.
wait. You say we go out onto the main deck?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
All right, as you all exit the captain's office, so to speak, you all see before you, the wide expanse of sea as the aforementioned jetties are really just, long columns of stones just stacked in a long line, basically breaking up the waves and allowing the ships calmer waters to enter and exit port with. Either way, you notice that there are large bonfires lit at periodic intervals along these trails of stone, and people, of course, tending the fires, moving back and forth between them. One ship apparently is waiting for you to come out, but either way, the important thing is the sun is currently setting behind you, so ahead lies nothing but pitch black and the stars as they slowly start to emerge from the sky.
Beautiful.
As you notice, the half-orc from earlier is standing right in front of the doorway. But hasn't seemed to notice you yet. Does anyone want to do anything with them, or just proceed out to the main deck?
The Tina and me wants to try and spook him, but Rashida wouldn't do that.
Right? I know. Like, I feel like I would be like, hey, but yeah, I think Falcon would.
Is Rashida gonna give him pamphlets?
I mean,
Oh my god, I do have a Morden
Your characters.
pamphlet! Yes! Okay, so she's gonna dig into her pamphlet and she says, since you were so interested, she hands him a pamphlet and walks off.
As you do this, you realize to your utter shock and horror that this is not the same half-orc that you had saw earlier. She turns around, and you can see why it was confusing at first, why you mistook her for the previous one. From behind, she looks exactly like the other one, but when she turns around, you notice that the tusks aren't as prominent, and instead of having two axes clipped to his belt, actually I forgot to mention that, but she has a long sword that's strapped to her side, and stares you down. Looks at the pamphlet, then looks back at you.
I apologize. Wrong. That's not, you or someone else. I greatly apologize. She bows her head and walks off.
The half-orc reaches and grabs your wrist.
Oh no!
Hold on.
Please don't.
Second. Too late. What do you mean, pamphlet?
It is just pamphlet of Moradin. I had noticed someone else of your stature had been staring at my friend's the symbol, and I assumed that they were interested. That is all. That is all.
She plucks the pamphlet from your hand and inspects it. Holds it up to the waning sun to look at it, and then looks above the to the deck above you, and shouts, "Batuno, get down here!" And as you watch, a very similar-looking half-orc descends the stairway. His tusks are far more prominent than hers, and he has 2 axes clipped to his sides. He approaches her, and they both stare each other down. What do you want?
I started the fight.
Do you know what this is? And she holds up the pamphlet to him. He takes it, unfolds the pamphlet, and examines it. Looks first at her, then at the 4 of you, then back to her. And then he says, "This looks suspiciously like a pamphlet of Moradin." "Yes, and she was trying to hand it to me." "Well, I didn't know you were a follower of Moradin." "That's not what I'm getting at. Clearly you've interested them enough that they wanted to convert you over to Moradin. I'll be honest, the only reason why I looked at that symbol from earlier was because I was appreciating the metalworking of it." It's a
Fulcrum pipes in, and we are well known for our metalwork.
Yes, several of our cannons are dwarven made. Very impressive, very deadly. I do apologize if my interest has confused you somewhat. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must return to my duties. And he turns around and makes his way back up the stairs to the helm where he was standing before. The second one turns to regard the 4 of you, her eyes now narrowed in what you can only hope is not, utter murder face. And then she huffs. And then she huffs and then releases Rashida's wrist. "I think you've taken up enough of my time. Captain, request permission to find these 6 weirdos some berthing below decks." And the captain shakes her head. "No, not yet. They wanted to see the ship leave port, so I'm going to allow them that freedom before we get them all settled for the night." "Very well, Captain." And she turns back around and resumes her vigil over the entire crew.
Rashida takes her hand, her wrist back and rubs it and goes, "Okay, I'm not going to do that ever again."
Fulcrum looks to the captain and
because I cut out.
She cut out.
What?
Jade
Oh no!
cut out.
When did she cut out?
I totally happened.
You cut out again.
When you were describing the female orc with the long.
Yeah. Oh boy.
That's where she left off. She didn't know anything else.
Oh god. Jade, can you still hear me? Or are you resetting?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So basically what happened is Rashida mistook the one that you first saw when you exited the captain's office for the half-orc that entered it in the first place. And it actually turned out to be a female half-orc. And then she called down the first one and asked him, why am I being handed a pamphlet of Moradin? And he's like, "Oh, that must be because I caught the holy symbol the dwarf had on her. It was very nicely made." And Falcon, said, "Well, yeah, we make a lot of cool shit." And then the half-orc was like, "Well, yeah, our cannons are dwarven made. They're very impressive. Now, if you'll excuse me, I got stuff to do." And he headed back upstairs.
And then Rashida was very happy to have her wrist back.
Okay.
And at this point, Falcon turns to the captain and says, "Well, who was that bundle of joy?"
That would be the first half, second half, whichever way you want to look at it, of my bodyguards. This strapping young lady is Batani. Her brother, behind the helm currently, is Batuno. They look very similar. You'd best not get them mixed up if you value your patience, your constitution, and possibly not getting chucked over the side.
Ah.
I think I've learned.
But don't worry, they're very polite when you don't anger them.
Well, it seems like they get real angry real quick.
Well, to be fair, how would you feel if someone came handing you random religious paraphernalia?
I like to learn.
As do I. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what should. But I mean, you know,
I
their
would-
own space. Everyone needs their own space. So I
I'm
guess.
a
Yeah,
drow. People give me religious paraphernalia all the time.
I mean, it's fine. It's fine. Falcon's just, she keeps looking at the sky like she doesn't want to be having this conversation. She just wants to go look at this, like look at the beautiful setting sun and all that. So she's like, it's okay. Can I go over to the edge there?
Can I go with her?
Like I said, the ship is yours so long as you avoid the powder magazine and the cargo hold. Now, if you'll excuse me, and then the captain ascends the stairs while Batani wanders forward of the ship,
Thanks, Captain.
leaving the 6 of you alone. And actually, the man and the elf also separate from your group because they want to go do something else. So now the 4 of you are alone.
Alright.
How high are
Nil
the
kind of watches the man and the elf walk away.
how high are the like ledges on the, or you know, the siding on the side of the ship? Like, can Falcon see over it pretty easy?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can definitely see over it. I mean, you might have to find a box or something, but like this isn't like, you know, like a opaque wooden banister. There's like, you know, there are slots where you can take a look out and see what's going on. It's just if you wanted to look over it, you'd have to get like a box or something to stand on.
Well, then she like goes up and holds on to like kind of the slats and is like, the sky is so pretty.
Nil notices this and walks up behind Falcon and just says, "Would you like a leg up? I can pick you up and put you on the edge."
While I appreciate the gesture, no one lifts a dwarf.
Oh God.
I'm so happy.
I mean, to be fair,
Oh right.
I've lifted quite a few dwarves.
Ooh.
I've lifted
Okay,
quite
I'll
a
have
few
to keep that in
dwarves, but I
mind.
do appreciate the sentiment.
Actually, hang on. Where is her con? Oh, I forgot about that. Oof. Okay. Well, as this is transpiring, you notice the bard of the party isn't as steady in her forward progress as you all thought she was, and she sort of more or less wobbles over and almost collides with Nil.
Rashida sort of tilts her head. Her head.
Nil,
Go ahead.
Nil does she like actually kind of collide or like?
Well,
does
she
contact?
kind of runs into you, like you know, like you know, when a drunk person like accidentally brushes against you, and it's like, oh, and they have that moment where they're like, oh crap, what the fuck just happened? And they're like, she has that sort of episode.
Nil laughs and then pats Akima really hard on the back and says, "I think you've had too much to drink. Maybe you need to go find a warm bosom to fall asleep in."
Oh, what's that supposed to mean?
It means you'll be sleeping in some breasts.
What?
Boobies.
Falcon just kind of
Oh, please.
I think Captain Scarlet's got 2 pillows for you.
Everyone's got pillows. You got pillows. It's pretty much trying to, you know, make fun of what happened. It's pretty obvious that, you know, you're not going to have an intelligible conversation with her. She's too far into her cups for this crap. In fact, the fact that she's still standing is a miracle.
God, quite a pair of sea legs she has there.
What? Sea legs?
Yes,
My
sea
legs
legs.
aren't made of water.
Well, you're quite
Do
salty.
you need help getting to your bed?
I think
No.
someone might need to pick her up.
Say, hang on, let me see something.
Falcon turns to Nil and says, Nil, can't you like lift her or something? Like, carry her to her bed.
It's a good thing she's not a dwarf.
Yes, nobody lifts dwarves, but this lady looks like she can use a leg up.
Carrying drunk people's such a chore. I've had to carry so many.
Well, I mean, you carry yourself, don't you?
Well, yeah.
She is... Oh, God. How tall is she? Give me a second.
She's a giant.
5'7".
At best, I could drag her somewhere, but I don't think she'd appreciate that.
What was that?
I have a
Okay.
1 to strength, so I have
Okay.
like a -1 to strength. So I don't think I can carry Akima, but I can
No.
drag her.
I mean, if you want.
I mean,
good.
I don't have a negative to strength, so I could probably help.
Well, actually, Falcon...
Actually, even better. As you notice that she straight up slightly and shakes her head and goes, "Oh, that honey mead hit me a lot faster than I expected." Oh,
Wow, full
there's
sentences.
safety, but oh my goodness.
Oh, you're okay now.
Yeah, for now. She's still drunk, but she's at least a bit more cognizant and coherent now than she was before.
What did you do?
Well, at least I know who my drinking buddy won't be. No offense, Akima.
What?
No, it's alright. Don't worry about it. Just look at the
I said at least
sunset.
I know who my can be.
Oh boy.
Maybe you should...
Just go sit.
Yeah,
I
find
think the
your
world stop moving.
way to a safe spot.
She basically just sits down right next to Falcon.
Oh,
I found the seat.
Good job.
Well, that-
I'm very proud
that
of you.
worked. And if you feel sick, there's all kinds of slats here. You can just pop your head out and vomit into the ocean.
I never vomit. I haven't
Okay.
vomited yet, I
Yet.
think.
Yet.
Well,
Yeah.
I'd like to not find out.
No one wants to find out if somebody can vomit
It also
or
is a
not.
very bad waste of food.
I mean, I'm kind of curious.
No, I'm not interested.
It is helpful to know.
Helpful to know what?
You know what
If
would
you
be
can
helpful?
vomit, I mean,
Yeah, it could save you a bit. Well, how about maybe we should be helpful and help you find your bed? Aren't you tired? You look tired.
I am not tired, and she attempts to stand up, but then can't.
How about
Said
you?
I'm not tired.
Just relax right there.
Nil just like,
Okay.
maybe you're not tired, but your legs are quite tired.
I guess they are pretty sleepy. Hey, and she beckons you guys closer.
Oh no.
Falcon doesn't want to get any closer than she already is.
Nor does Rashida.
Oh
So
no.
Falcon just kind of leans her head in, but does not nudge her feet.
Then
Nil, out of morbid curiosity, leans in.
she cups a hand to her mouth and says, "We should totally
Nil-
take a
Nil
look
kinda,
at the
like, puts her
cargo
hands on
hold.
her waist and leans down.
We should totally take a look at the cargo hold."
No, we just left port.
She
I'm
gives
not-
thumbs up.
No, maybe tomorrow we can do it. How about that?
We would.
Oh,
Well, I
okay.
completely
I
That's
think it would be
tomorrow.
really noisy and we'd get caught.
Okay.
And we were only given 3 rules. We don't want to break one of them. No, we can't do that.
Exactly.
Okay. But aren't you just at least be curious why we're not allowed in?
Not the best idea when you're drunk.
I mean, it could be
All right.
volatile. It could be
Right.
volatile. Like, we could go in there and we all could die. Maybe that is why we
Well,
don't.
Yes,
Okay.
rules are made for a good reason. They're rarely bad.
I agree
Well,
with Akima. I think
I
we should look
mean,
at the
some
cargo.
rules are, very bad rules.
But I've not come across any. I think most rules are great.
I mean, it depends on
You
the
hear the-
person that gives you those rules.
Well, only honorable people should be in charge.
That's not always the case.
I believe I've heard where that has been. Anyway,
Did you say
the
you
point
think
is-
most rules are great?
Oh, absolutely. They're meant to protect you and to guide you on a path to be the best person
or,
you can be.
or oppress you. Those are some other options as well.
What? I'm sure I've never come across any rules of that nature, but that's fine.
You would be very good well to not experience such rules. This is not a good thing to have or be involved
Okay.
with. So, yes, for now, it's good to just not ignore the. Well, I mean, it's good to know that they exist. Just don't ever be stuck in that position.
Right. Okay. But we definitely should not break any of these rules
I
for
agree.
the three that we've been given, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. These are good rules to uphold.
Okay, good. I'm glad we're on the same page there.
It is very hard for us to be on the separate page.
Yes, well, you've got many pamphlets. There's lots of pages to be on.
There are, but at least we're on the same one.
Right. Reading together.
Are you on the same paragraph, though?
Oh,
I joke.
I don't know.
That is actually the first lighthearted laugh that you actually have heard from Rashida.
Oof. As you all carry on, you hear the sound of the throat being cleared from behind.
Oh boy.
Does it sound scary?
It probably
No,
sounds
it
scary.
doesn't actually.
Oh, good. Falcon turns around happily, not having to
Crap.
deal with drunkenness.
Yes, thank you.
As you turn around, you see a woman of her early 30s. She has brown skin made darker by the exposure to the sun. She keeps her long brown hair bangs loose in front of her, but the rest is gathered up into one long braid, and she keeps that draped over her shoulder. You notice that she's not wearing much in the way of armor and clothing, save for, a series of chest wrappings, some flowing pants, and a pair of boots which these pants are tucked into. But what you can definitely tell is hers is a body that is muscular, toned, and has seen many a fist fight, for a series of scars adorn her skin that have long since healed, but still paint a somewhat formidable sight. And she gives you all a smile.
Hello.
Hi. I can see that someone here has had a little too much to drink. Why don't we all get you some quarters first before you decide to go exploring the ship?
I think that actually would be a really good... Don't you think, Akima? A good idea for you to go find bed.
That sounds great right about now.
Yes, let's go.
Yeah,
now.
that's
Come on.
right. Good. Yes, Akima, that's good.
It's good.
And as you say this, the woman proceeds to gently eat her way past you and then picks up Akima completely and throws her over her shoulder. Okay, let's get her below decks. Follow me, please.
Thank you so
And
much.
she heads to the stairs leading down into the ship.
Rashida follows.
Falcon follows.
So, you all will be joining us on this journey across the sea?
We are.
It's a bit late to get off the boat now, isn't it?
Unless you
A
want
little
to swim.
bit. Well, yes, considering that we're now on the open ocean. But yes, it is a little bit late to get off the ship. And as she walks through the bowels of the actual ship, you notice that you pass several passages, doors, and then finally she takes you to a set of what somewhat nice-looking doors, considering that they are adorned with silver embroidery at certain points on the actual door, and she opens it. Inside is a rather cozy but obviously rustic-looking pair of bunk beds with two chests. One of them sits to one side, is right next to one bunk bed. The other one sits on the other side and is next to the other one. And she gingerly lays down the bard in one of them. These will be your quarters for the rest of the trip. I do hope you enjoy your stay aboard, and hopefully nothing bad happens. And if something bad happens and you're involved, I get to break you over my knee.
Oh,
Are we clear?
absolutely. Very clear.
Excellent. You all have a very good night.
No, don't define anything. We're good. We
I mean,
understand.
if you
Neil,
want me to
understand.
define it for you, I can. I can
No,
demonstrate
please
right
do.
now if you'd like.
No.
Like, if we break any of the rules, right?
Oh my god.
Yes, if you break any of the rules, I get to break you over my knee.
Well, no rules
Does-
broken here on my end.
Do people break the rules often? You seem so jolly, and that was quite a turn of events there, threatening
Well,
to break us.
Considering I am a woman of
We-
capable
no,
means
break
of
us.
punching the literal spine out of people,
I wouldn't
yes.
break the rules
we don't have many rule breakers around here. But the ones that do get that demonstration of what I mean by you break the rules, I break you over my knee.
Okay, well, we'll hope to not engage with that portion of the rules.
I agree on
That
this.
sounds great. You all have a wonderful night, and she exits the room.
Rashida closes the door behind her. Okay, no more
Good
scary
night.
people.
Well, that was... I must say, this entire experience is quite intriguing. Goodness.
Neil, could we not antagonize people into breaking us? I would appreciate that. I mean, you might want to be broken, but I have no interest at all in having a single broken bone in my body.
Yeah, I don't like... I like breaking stone, but that's about it.
And I think you're very good at that.
Thank you, thank you.
I think Neil has gone to another land.
Still can't believe it is light out. It's only 7:30.
I
Dang.
know, I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Daytime at lasts.
All right. Yeah, now you have your quarters for the rest of the journey.
Fun. God.
You guys like to do anything?
I
Look
will be
around.
right.
Okay, Jade is going AFK.
Okay. Whoops.
Well, while that's happening, if it's all right, we ordered pizza that has just arrived, so I might run and grab a slice if that's okay.
I actually might grab myself a cappuccino.
Cappuccino, yes, go.
I'll be right back.
I'm gonna go get me a thing of cookies. Here I am.
Cookies.
Get yourself a cookie.
I have a different computer I'm going to try to see if it works better.
I mean, that's understandable.
Steph's done that.
I mean, she has, technically.
Who?
Seth.
Seth?
Oh yeah, so has no. I refuse to play a character that won't reach inside of another human being and yank out their heart.
Right.
Or play with their tendons.
Or read their guts for prophecy.
Yes, or profit.
Ooh.
Prophecy or profit.
Kyle now wonders why he's in this party.
Random chance.
Goodness.
I wrote down the entire thing. Fuck, I did not.
How could
Oh
you?
no.
Okay.
Ah, it's very watery. Ah, ugh.
Is that your...
Ew.
I hear some, may the Jedi Masters bless thee.
That's not how it normally goes, but that was beautiful.
Oh, I know that guy on TikTok. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Is that-
Caleb W. Francis.
Yeah, like he's kind of ginger, right?
Yes.
Knows where's that? Yeah.
And watch over you as you make your way down this road called life.
God.
Amen. That's not how it normally goes, but that was beautiful.
Okay, please tell me I wrote this down in World Anvil. Damn it, I'm gonna have to reset my password.
Are we rubbing?
Shit.
Are we rubbing stones together? What's going on here?
Death and pain.
Oh my god.
Oh, are we talking about my life again?
Yes.
No.
Oh, I guess I'm not on the same page. I'm on a different part of that novel.
Alright, so is there anything you guys would like to do before you turn in for the night?
Um,
Sorry, the two of you just went, and it was like a beautiful harmony of in my ear.
A MacBook just turned on.
Duh.
Yes, exactly.
At least it's not like a dial-up.
Oh, we're children.
I mean, I rolled an 18 before for perception before Jade left.
What are you trying to do perception on?
Just want to see the overall look of the room, if there's any goodies, or if there's just, bunks
No.
and...
It's pretty standard.
Cool. Rashida's excited. She gets a bunk bed. She hasn't had one since she had her siblings.
Oof.
Interesting. Not that we know that.
No.
Yeah. Falcon looks and says, "Does anybody have a preference for which bunk is theirs?"
Top.
Oh, like I told the elf, I'm good for on thoughts. Does it really matter to me?
Rashida's already like halfway up the ladder.
You're very eager about the things you're eager about, aren't you?
Well, maybe. And she starts to like kind of pat the blanket down a little bit and like, get it to like, look nice or comfortable for her. She's making a nest, more or less. And at this point, Ori does like, from her shirt, like her shirt kind of dangles just a little bit. And so Ori like pops out and like starts like bouncing around on the bed as she's making it.
Nice.
So, your boob monster's cute when he's come out of the set.
You think he's not cute? Well, he's in the shed.
I'm sure he's cute in there. I just don't want to start your breath long enough to see.
I mean, it's very understandable. I would prefer that you did not do that either.
I promise you, the only time I'm looking is when I see jam your hand down there with a loaf of bread.
I mean, he was hungry, and so was I.
That's what I'm saying, though. He's cute when he's out.
He's a good boy. And she scratches his head and he purrs.
How did you come about having whatever he is?
It's kind of a strange story. I found him in a box on a river.
In a box on a river?
Mm-hmm. He was locked in it. Actually, he was dead at first.
Did you just say he was dead at first?
I mean, I thought he was.
So you found a dead dragon in a locked box on a river.
Yeah, around the time I was about 6.
6? You've had him for years, huh?
Mm-hmm. He's my baby.
How old are you?
She has to count on her fingers. Give her a second. She starts counting on her fingers and goes, about the 28th this year.
Oh, all right.
Is that young for people?
What's that?
Is that young for a people?
I mean,
Or whatever you are?
I suppose it's a, well, I mean, most age, women are married around the 15th year.
Oh, that's so young, that's gross. Marrying, having sex with one man forever. Disgusting.
I agree. If there is one thing that we agree on, I agree on that.
So you've had this thing, though, that tiny little dragon thing, for about 22 years then?
About. He's very faithful, and he stays, quiet for the most part unless he's hungry.
What river did you find him in?
It was one... She kind of goes back and she just sort of like sits there in thought for a moment, scratching her head. It was in Ravia, and it was next to a temple my father was going to build. I can't remember the name of the river. Could I roll for like a wisdom check or something to see if she remembers the name of the river?
Sure.
Okay. That is a 13.
You remember the river was the Golden Tongue.
Okay. The Golden Tongue. The Golden Tongue, that's the name of the river.
Can I do a roll to see how much I would know about that region?
Sure.
in all my travels. Let's see. Would that be like a plus on with history?
Say again?
Would I get a plus for it? Would that be history? A history check?
Yes.
5, so 1, so 12.
Okay, what you know of Ravia is this. Ravia is known as the Western Wall, considering that it resides within... Oh god, I gotta pull up the map now. Give me one
I know it's the desert. As far as else, that's about it.
That's how you get!
I need to find Nil's backstory because I can't remember. I know she's from the
here we
woods.
go. Yeah. If I remember correctly, you remember that Ravia sits within the Cobalt Mountains and actually acts as the western gate for anyone trying to make the way through the Desert of Abandonment into the Realm of Angamar. In addition to that, you know that the Golden Tongue actually stems from the Western Tyne. The westernmost lake leaves Lake Dax and inches its way towards the Cobalt Mountains. As a result, the Golden Tongue is one of the... It's like, if you will, the Nile of ancient Egypt.
Okay.
A lot of trade happens along this river, a lot of temples dot its banks. It's a very prosperous and prominent feature within not just the capital, but the towns that have sprung up along its banks as it travels into the marshlands. So you know that because of its prominence, there would be a great many temples and monuments and other things, paying tribute to the gods that have been constructed along its banks.
Right. Mostly, it's a great place for Neil to steal some shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
You get all the gold.
All the gold. That's an interesting area. That's a very interesting area to be from. Now your love of all things pamphlets and religion makes sense, though.
I was very interested. My father was an architect for temples.
So I imagine you had a lot of religious stuff lying around.
At home, yeah, and then when I wanted to become a cleric, my father allowed me to leave and sort of go on pilgrimage.
Oh, so you're a cleric.
Mm-hmm.
That makes everything makes sense now. Oh, you're God. I'm stuck with a cleric. And you're that loves her God. Well, oh.
You're stuck with two clerics, love.
Oh, this is painful. I've been punished. Are you sure this is not an intervention?
Perhaps the gods want you to turn your life around. Have you ever considered that? This may be...
one-way ship.
No, absolutely not. Anything can change. We can all be better.
I'm the best me I can be. You mean better?
Uh-huh.
Down at Akima, hoping she's at least not passed out.
Give me 1 second. Let me see if she is or isn't. She's not. But she just yes.
Please, for the love of their gods, tell me. You're not a cleric, are you?
No. Last time I checked.
Oh, thank goodness. Oh. So you're not here for some weird alcoholic intervention or to tell me I have to stop killing to be happy?
No. What is going on?
Don't worry about it, Akima. Stay exactly as you are. And don't take any of the pamphlets.
Nil's just like, please, for the love of God, save me. No, please, for the love of alcohol, save me.
Okay. Someone give me a perception check.
Ooh.
Falkrin will.
Oh, leave it to
Alright.
Falkrin.
Nat 20.
Oh, look at that.
All right, you notice the blade has moved again. Instead of sitting in her pocket, it is now nestled once again in her side pocket within her jacket.
Akima,
Yes.
Now that's an interesting blade you've got there. I've noticed it keeps popping around. Is that...
Which one? Oh, this thing. And she pulls out the blade and holds it aloft and goes, yeah, it's really strange. It keeps teleporting all over the place. I don't know why. But
So
it hasn't teleported away from me, but I'll like put it in my belt and next thing you know it's sitting in my back pocket, or I'll put it within a sheath and then stuff it within my jacket. Next thing you know it's hanging out of my side pocket. It's really weird.
How did you come upon such a blade? May I take a look at it?
Sure. And she hands the blade over to you.
Okay.
Rashida
Can
starts to
I
squeeze and look at it as she's holding it. Very.
can I do some sort of like expert smithing check to see like if I can ascertain anything about it?
Sure.
Let's see. I rolled an 11. Would that be like probably like a intelligence?
Yes.
Okay, so in that case it'll be should be a
Jay disappeared
14.
No, not yet.
Oh, she.
Actually, hang on. It does not disappear. It's still there.
Oh. Ew.
Okay, so what'd you get?
I got a 14. Would it be a history check or just a regular
It'd be
intelligence?
history.
Okay, because if it's history, then I got a 16.
Okay. You do know that the blade itself is not from around these lands. It is forged by dwarven hands, but it has been enchanted by the Dragonborn.
Okay.
In fact, let me get that information. Hang on, I just sent it to Tina. I might as well send it to you. All right. Actually, I stand corrected. So I need to change that, but it's been created by both Dwarven and Dragonborn, but I need to change the flavor text for it real quick.
Okay.
Either way, I will send that to you in a second. I just gotta find where.
Cool.
Oh wow, this is way back in the message chain. I have an easier strategy than that.
I feel that though. God.
Yeah. All right, there we go. All right. Oh wait, I already sent it to you. Yeah, check your Discord messages.
So the yes.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, from what you can tell, it is definitely not from around here. In fact, you can even read the script that is carved into the blade itself.
Okay.
And it speaks out a name to you. I'll
What?
send you that as well.
Okay. Does that name ring any bells for me, or just
Give me a history check.
nat 20?
Nice.
Alright, I'm going to send you information if I can find the right folder. There it is. I'm going to send you information. Let's see, that's not it, that's not it. There it is, okay. Alright. It's not so much one person, but it's a tale that you were told once. Okay. Watch is going to tell me, this is 2,000 characters. Yeah, it's over
I'm gonna eat that. It's so annoying.
I'm gonna break it down into chunks.
Bite-sized pieces.
Mm-hmm. Ew.
Yes. No, Miss Bonson is not available. I thrown it into a river because it was like a weird noise. She left it.
I have a wizard hand, Harry.
Like you just keep it around with you.
Yeah, see, I have a wizard hand.
Why do you have a weird dismembered hand?
Because it fell off of my wizard. Harry.
Oh. That just reminds me of Gareth from Labyrinth. Cool little magic balls.
Right there. I mean, his
All
balls
lizards
are rather
technically have
magical.
magic balls.
So this is completely random, but I saw a TikTok the other day where this guy who was like, I was
actually, hang on. I actually got to edit that entire thing. Give me one
oh,
second.
okay. No problem.
This is the older draft. I haven't touched this in like months.
Hey, that's fine.
No worries.
Hang on.
This is
I
good.
gotta edit this.
I will disregard the previous message.
Don't look at it.
It's going to more or less be the same, but of course I need to edit it.
Okay, then look at it.
I'll look at it, but then I'll wait.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. That is fixed.
I don't want to be spayed.
Spade?
That does sound rather unpleasant.
It does.
It does sound...
It sounds like a doozy.
There it is.
Let me see if I can send that picture to you guys, actually, because I don't know if I ever sent the picture of it. Nope.
Okay, there we go. Let me grab that and send that to you. Okay, it's portion 1. And hopefully I can get the rest of it to you. Okay. That is what you know with your nat 20.
Dope.
Okay, yeah, I knew Ravia sounded
Mhm.
familiar. Okay. Wow, Sheena and I just happen to have that in common.
Mhm.
That's weird.
I know,
What?
right?
That, Mill was a part of the Thieves Guild in your hometown
What?
for a brief period. Not that you know this.
No,
Hmm?
briefly heard and forgotten. What's
And
going
then
on
forgotten.
about Ravia?
I just think it's hilarious that I picked a random place.
Yes. Oh yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah.
And I'm just like, ooh, that place sounds cool. I want to be born there.
Steal your childhood memory.
Right though? I mean, not in truth. You mean you were there, but she never encountered you, so that's a blessing.
Oh, were we there at the same time? I wonder.
I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
Probably.
Hmm.
Honestly, I have no idea because to be straight with you, like I was a human, or I am a human. No, wait.
Angela.
So,
Oh, it would have been very brief when we were there at the same
Yes.
time. Very, very brief.
small child running around unaware that this would be the creature she'd meet in later times.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Unless you had anything on you worth stealing, I wouldn't have paid any attention to you.
Right though?
I'm just a simple bard, man. All right, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
So after recalling all of that, Falcon looks to Akima and says, "How was it again that you come by this?" And she hands it back over to her.
She takes the blade back. She scratches her chin with the tip of it. You know, I honestly have forgotten. I mean, I found it one day and took it.
That's why I come about most of my best things.
Does it ever talk to you?
Not really.
Whatever it's
That's good. Because, you know, things like that shouldn't talk to you, right?
Well, yeah, anything that, is a weapon that suddenly decides to talk to me is a bad thing.
Not
You
only
said
that,
not
but
really,
the
not
weapon
no.
itself is very hard to remove from its owner. I wonder how that happened.
Well, Jade, would you like to do an insight check?
Yeah.
All right, by all means.
I think I have like any insight. No, 13.
Okay. Do you have the ability to sense anything arcane?
I have a +1 on Arcana.
Okay. The blade doesn't necessarily speak so much as it creates a sense of self-righteousness. Not arrogant, but, the safety in the fact that you feel protected. And the farther away you get from it, that feeling starts to fade. But the closer you approach it, it returns. So it doesn't necessarily speak so much as you can sense its presence.
Okay. Can I roll to see if it's any, if I've heard of blades that might, give that off?
Sure.
11, 12.
Okay. What you do know is that these blades are gifted to dragonborn clerics.
Fucking cleric. What is Akima again?
She's a bard.
Cleric.
But what race?
Human.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe our group name should be the Holy Rollers.
Oh, God.
Hey.
I've seen me plot that group. Can we call it holy shit?
How about Nil and the Holy Rollers?
But
There you go.
from what you could remember, let's see. Yeah, from what you can remember, you do know that the blade itself is gifted to a specific order of clerics, specifically these dragonborn clerics, at the end of their trials to actually, be officially ordained as a cleric in the service of Bahamut. And the blade itself is meant to protect the wearer against the undead. It doesn't necessarily affix this aura to the Dragonborn so much as it generates the aura itself because of the enchantments placed upon it. Since dwarves made it, but Dragonborn enchanted it. So in a sense, it's considered a holy weapon, but of course it's a dagger. It's not really a long sword or a bastard sword, so to speak. So it's not going to do much damage, but it's going to be great against warding off zombies or undead.
I really want to see zombies.
Seth is not in this game, Jade.
I know.
I mean, Nil will probably throw up against it when she sees the zombie.
Oh, do I have plans?
Oh, yeah.
Goody, goody, goody. Goody,
I
They
mean,
goody.
involve
it's not
Virgie.
thing if there's not dead stuff trying to kill you. I mean, when you think about it, it's kind of sweet. It's like, we're like this, and what used to be like this.
No, I don't think that's how it works.
Join me in eternity.
No, don't consider me worthy, please. I'm not worthy.
I'm just taking my time getting there.
Yeah, right. I'm working on it.
So is there anything else you guys would like to do for the night?
I mean, Rashida's starting to kind of get all comfortable in her top bunk, and Ori's sort of curled up against her chest, like a cat would.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Falkren's a bit of a goody two-shoes, so she's like, I'm ready for bed. I just need to go brush my teeth.
Of course you do. Is there any... Did they show us where we can brush our teeth?
No, they did not. They just basically wanted to get the drunk woman off the deck and into bed.
Falkren goes to her bag and she's like, oh, when I brush my teeth, I just do this. She pulls out a flask and gargles some alcohol real quick. It's like,
Well, that's one way to do it. I suppose then I have a very, very clean mouth.
And with that, did you say you wanted the bottom bunk or the top bunk?
Nil didn't care.
I don't know if Falkren has a preference.
Would you like the top bunk so you can feel tall when you sleep?
Falkren tries to maintain her composure. It's like, no, I don't think I will. I'd like the bottom bunk if it's all right. But if you prefer the bottom, you may have it.
I'll take the top. Doesn't really matter. I'm not so drunk that I don't think I can get up there without falling.
I think you could anywhere, to be honest.
Hmm?
I think you could manage to find a way to get about anywhere if you really wanted to.
Well, you're not wrong there, Rashida. I've gotten into any place I've ever wanted to.
Falkren goes to the lower bunk and very primly pulls back the sheets and climbs. Lays down gently.
It's adorable.
Yeah.
Nil crawls up and throws herself onto the bunk and doesn't even bother getting under the blanket or taking shoes off or anything.
Oh my god.
And
I
just
got you.
plops hard onto the bed.
You hear Falkren like audibly like choke on spit at the thought of shoes being in a bed, but she doesn't say anything.
Rashida's also got her nose scrunched and she looks down at Ori and says, we never do that, you understand me?
Yeah, Falkren's like, oh, Moradin, and just starts mumbling in Dwarvish.
Nil,
Starts
upon
saying
hearing
a
this,
prayer.
puts her head down and says, do not pray for me as you sleep. That goes for you too, and she points at Rashida.
I wasn't doing nothing. And she says as her hands were just clasped and she's like, I was not doing anything.
I love that.
I better add that to this. Alright, so night descends. The ship continues to make its way out to sea, and the gentle rocking and heaving of the ship lulls everyone asleep. You all awaken in a black room with a single spotlight illuminating a gray statue. It's the shape of a gargoyle reading a book. And as this happens, the gargoyle looks up and then closes the book.
No.
How much did I have to drink?
I didn't drink anything.
I don't think we're on the boat anymore.
You're correct, you're not on the boat. Please come closer.
What? You know, I don't... Who are you?
I wasn't asking. Please come closer.
Well, now I have a sinking feeling to not come closer.
Do I recognize anything about the gargoyle? Like, is there anything that stands out in terms of like historic or religious significance? Okay.
Nothing you can put a finger on yet.
Falkren, while feeling uneasy, does approach because it's her natural instinct to do what she's told.
I think actually Rashida is about the same in that regard, but it's more the tone that causes her to step forward, and it's more the threateningness of that tone that kind of urges her to obey.
Nil, seeing that the two clerics have stepped forward, not really giving a shit if they die, walks behind them keeping her hand on her sword, just in case.
You look down and you notice that you don't have a sword there. In fact, you can't see any of your limbs. You're just a writhing cloud of wispy smoke.
And Neil audibly just goes,
Ah, you're quicker than most when it comes to noticing that you're no longer in your physical form. Please come closer so I can explain everything.
Well, not in what? Rashida manages to look around at this point.
what the hell did we drink?
Just come closer,
She
please.
starts panicking.
Behind the cleric.
Oh, God. So the group approaches the statue,
Yes.
and he nods. Excellent. I don't have much time, but there are matters of import you must know before you head into Angamar. I know 2 of you have been there already. In fact, born there is much more appropriate to say. However, things have changed since you were there last. Know this. Not everyone is your friend. Not everyone is your ally. Don't trust anyone, because there are forces at work within that land that will kill you if it benefits them.
Well, no
Are
shit,
you
I'm
with
one of
me?
them.
Are you with me right now, or do I have to explain in much slower words so you can understand?
Perfectly understood.
I think you make your point.
Good, because believe me, there are many in here who don't want me doing this.
There are more in
feel-
here.
If you want, you can go ahead and make a perception check
Yeah,
to see if you see any.
I'm 100%. I want to be as aware as fucking possible.
I am so not aware. I have 13. Well, kind of. 13.
Okay.
I'm getting a much perception in this game.
I have a dirty 20.
All right. You notice every so often there are other wisps, but from here you can't really tell if they're just wisps or they're just, smoke-shrouded figures. But what you do see is there are definitely other beings within this room, just you can't make out what they are. Now then, the gargoyle continues. Know this. Despite the gallant captain's very authoritative rules on the matter, you would best know to look in the cargo hold for why she is coming to the Realm of Angamar.
Oh no.
Trust me, you won't be disappointed.
But she told us not to. Should we not trust her?
You don't trust anybody. He just said don't trust anybody.
Why should we trust you?
You're learning. Good. You don't have to trust me if you don't want to, but I'm only going to tell you this. If you do trust me, you'll live a lot longer.
What if we don't want to?
So I break rules.
Well, if you
and
don't
get
want
over
to,
fun.
that's on you.
Amelia's got a death waiting.
Well, I will say, I was going to look in the cargo hold anyway, because the bitch told me not to, so obviously I'm going to.
Well, you're smarter than most. I'll give you that.
I just don't think Falcon really wants to. Maybe she's going to kill your god, or whatever it is you believe in.
Nobody could kill Moradin. That would be a ridiculous thing.
I wouldn't place as much stock in your heavenly Lord Moradin as you want to place in him right now. Trust me on this.
What do you know? That what are you hiding something?
Now, I can't tell you everything.
But you've bothered to tell us this much.
I've bothered to tell you enough to get you thinking. How's that sound for a treat?
It sounds a bit like you're an ass.
You literally told me nothing new. I don't trust anybody. I am one of those forces in Angmar that will kill someone for profit, and I was going to look into the cargo hold.
Well, you've definitely survived a lot longer than most, so I'll give you that.
Survive
So
longer
can
than...
you give us some new information that might be of assistance to me in any single way, shape, or form?
Oh, I think what
I'll tell you this. When you get to Jalad, and trust me, you will, don't worry. That's going to happen one way or another. Keep your ear to the ground for anything that might help.
That's so cryptic and unhelpful, but thanks.
And for as much time as I've spent underground, putting your ear up against it doesn't help you hear anything.
Well, that's what you get for living underground most of your
Unless
life.
something's digging.
That's true. Sometimes you can't. It's more like if you feel... That's not the point, though. What? I am very befuddled by what is
know.
happening here. Are
I
we...
know.
You mean to tell me that we need to go breaking rules? We need to go... It's... And she just keeps sputtering.
I didn't say you had to go break any rules. I just said you would be of great interest if you were to look into the cargo hold and find out what you're taking to Jalad. Whether or not you do that is on you, because again, like I said, trust no one.
To be fair, Falcon, what if the captain's rules, without you knowing it, go against the board's rules?
I mean, that is quite a possibility. You wouldn't, if you were an individual of nefarious intents, you would not want anyone to know. So therefore, you would make bad rules to cover up your bad intentions.
Like if I made a bunch of rules, would you follow them?
Oh, no, I would
So
not.
exactly, you would follow my rules.
But we are on her ship. It's rude to not follow her. I mean, I'll jump
So if I
over.
had a big ship, everyone would
No.
follow my rules.
What? Ma'am, she said...
You trust because of a boob?
No, I don't like boobs.
Are they just the powerful and they command?
No.
Where did we get? We're talking about the cargo
I don't-
hold, and now
Neil
we're talking
really
about
has-
boobies?
it's
What
fun
is
for
happening?
No, I suppose, but here's the thing, okay, she said stay away from the cargo hold.
But what
If
if
we happen to walk past it while the door is open, I think I would know a little bit more to know whether or not her rules could be bad rules.
That's the question of whether or not she keeps the door open. She did mention guards.
Oh, Rashida. It doesn't matter if she keeps the door open or not. I can get in there.
Oh,
Whatever you decide to do is up to you.
Do you have anything like, actually helpful?
Not right now. I've given you all I need to give you.
Will we see you again?
Maybe, maybe not.
Can we hope it's the latter?
You'll find out. How's that sound? Now go away. You've interrupted my reading.
here.
I was sleeping, thank you.
He snaps his fingers and you all black out again.
Oh my god.
We're just a bunch of angry women.
It's just like, my beauty sleep has been interrupted. Falkreen is like, what the fuck? And Nell's just like, I already know this fucking bullshit.
What made me freak with the anarchists?
Told me everything I already know.
I love it. This is good.
And then he was cryptic as fuck.
All right, so you say we wake up back in our
Yes.
cabin?
No, we're dead.
Yes.
We're dead now. He killed us.
Oh,
That's the end of the game.
You're fine.
No. Well, Falcon sits straight up and goes, "What was that?"
Okay, you had the same dream too?
Did we trip? Did we take drugs together last night and I forgot?
Did you have...
No.
No, I don't have drugs in me. I don't even have drugs on me. Do you have drugs on you?
That's unfortunate.
I wouldn't be surprised if you had drugs on you, which honestly I don't even care. What is... I don't want to go breaking into cargo holds.
Well,
no one
I
said
had
you
an
have
idea.
to.
Because here's
What's your idea?
who's that?
That's Akima. She's below you.
Okay.
Was she in our dream?
I was just like,
I
I thought
mean-
someone walked in on us.
We hadn't planned anything. No.
Yes, she was, but she didn't say anything because you all were just losing your minds. So she's the one.
Akima is the shyest bard ever.
Okay.
Well, yeah, she's not playing her lute right now.
Okay. So, Falkreen, you don't want to do the thing, correct?
I don't like...
Okay. Well,
Breaking
here's
rules.
an idea.
So-
I broke in and you just, kind of had my back.
Well, how about we pay you to go in, you do it yourself, you do it good, and then that payment is an insurance that you will tell us what's in there.
Well, what am I supposed to be doing? What if there's two giant guards guarding it? I need somebody to distract them.
Okay.
While I don't want to go in myself, I do enjoy talking to folks.
And I bet a lot of folks would like to learn about your guards.
Or at least weapons.
Yeah?
I've been looking around. The weapons on this ship they're many, but they're not up to my crafting standards.
I bet you could go down there and teach them a thing or two, and that would be following all of the rules and, following your gold rule, enhancing the weaponry around you.
I am here to make the world a better place, and if that's what I have to do, I don't see why it couldn't suit you as well.
I think that could work. If you two would be willing to provide a momentary distraction, I would happily slip in there.
Okay. The question is
Okay.
are you actually going to tell us anything?
Depends on how good your distraction is.
Alright.
Well, if you don't tell us anything, I would be compelled to have to explain when rules were broken. But if you can show me that you going into that cargo hold is for the greater good, that's what I ultimately serve. So
I will give you a full report of whatever I do find if I come back alive.
Alright.
I think that's fair.
But you better make that distraction damn good.
I have a question, out of character.
Sure.
Is there
Sure.
a way for me, like, do I need to roll anything or anything like that? But was Akima there with us, or is it just the three of us?
No, she was there.
Okay.
She just didn't say anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
alright.
you three were pretty much harassing the strange gargoyle made of stone with questions. And she's like, I ain't saying shit.
Okay. Akima's just like, I will be the only woman here that isn't going to bite his head off.
Pretty much.
She's the mom friend in the group now.
Well, I have an idea, she finally says. If Nil needs a distraction to get in there, I can disguise myself as someone and then distract the guard.
Ooh.
Oh, I like that. I can disguise myself too. I don't have to go in as Nil.
I know who we
love-
could disguise
I love
ourselves as.
disguising.
I know who we could disguise ourselves as.
Who?
The half-orcs.
Yes! Oh, I have a whole kit. Oh, I'm so excited to have somebody else who loves to go in disguise. Oh, I'm so excited.
Oh, wait, you actually have a kit that you do that with?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I just cast a spell. I cast a spell and then turn into a person.
Well, that's so much easier.
Yeah. I mean, I can help you disguise yourself if you want.
Not as fun as the makeup and all that, but I mean, yeah, that would be fun.
Okay, we can get started. All right, if you want to, let's see. I think this would be performance.
Oh, before we start, Rashida did mention something about payment.
Yep.
Your payment is knowing you did a good job.
Yeah, that'll do it for me. What sort of payment would that be?
Okay. Rashida sort of digs into her pouch and hands Nil about 5 gold. This is what I have.
Oh, part of the team. I'll take one. I'll give you a discount. I'll be nice this time.
Alright.
I'll take one.
Oh, look at that.
Half
Neil.
of
That's
the
a
other
good
for
choice.
last.
Maybe the intervention is working.
I swear to your God.
I did pray that you'd have a generous heart.
Okay, you know, I'm going to take the other 4 gold now.
Oh, come on, Neil.
To teach you a lesson. Oh, you can keep them. I'll
You
just
talk
take
about
one.
and have fun. Oh, okay.
Stop praying for me.
It's alright.
Neil seems awfully concerned with how I speak to gods.
I just don't need it being put on me.
If you don't care, I don't see why it matters.
I just don't need it put on me.
Fine.
Just don't try to intervene me.
I'm just here, following rules,
Oh my God.
talking about weapons,
Reading
The
pamphlets.
rule.
pamphlets. We're perusing the pamphlets.
You, Falcon, could never make a weapon more deadly than Rashida's tablets because, dear your god, they will bore you to death. Just absolutely bore you to death.
I don't know. I think a warhammer to the jugular vein is still pretty good.
Yes,
That
that would be.
will work. But the tablets would be a much more painful death.
I suppose.
And she turns back to Akeem and just says, alright, you ready for the spell now that I've got my money?
Okay. Give me 1 second. And she traces a few lines in the air, blah, blah, blah. Give me 1 sec. I need to look up the incantation requirements for this thing. Components. It doesn't say. I was just verbal and somatic. Doesn't need materials. Okay. Yeah, she said a couple words, and then she transforms into... give me 1 second. A Tuno. So now you have a male half-orc in the room.
That's pretty cool. That's a lot easier than how I usually have to do it.
Yes, that's very useful. Now it's your turn. Oh my, is that the sound of my
That's
voice?
the sound of his voice.
Oh wow. I haven't used this spell in forever. Okay. Anyway, wow, I still cannot believe I sound like that. Let's get this over.
Oh, you might want to try singing one of your favorite songs while you got that.
I am
voice.
not singing well disguised like this. Okay. I'm pretty sure
Quite the
what's his
difference.
name.
I don't think he really seems like the singing type.
Exactly. Now let's get this over with.
Oh, I'm nervous.
All right, so I take it you're going to be using your disguise kit?
Yes, I will use my disguise.
Okay, go ahead and roll performance, and I will assist.
What if we get broken, Falcon?
So you get
What
advantage.
if we get broken?
If what is broken,
Okay. So I have 17 for performance.
Okay, that's enough. All right, you now look like Patani,
Yay!
Batuno's sister. All right, so how are we doing this?
Oh, that's a good question.
well,
We obviously need to distract the guards.
Do we remember where Batani and Petunia were?
From
Did
what
we
you
run into them?
from what you could see, they definitely like to stay up on the main deck. Basically, just one serves as the bodyguard of the captain, while the other one, maintains the watch.
Okay.
well, I do believe, Rashida, shouldn't we go and maybe take a stroll about the ship and discuss the ways of the gods and good weaponry?
I agree. I think that is a good idea.
Yes, we can go ahead and start off that way, and whatever you get up to, that's you.
Oh, laughs uncontrollably at Foster's clear level of uncomfortableness. Just taps her on the back. I'll tell you all about it when we get back.
I trust you will.
Now, I don't want to rush you, but if I remember correctly, I can only stay like this for an hour, so we need to hurry.
All right, let's go.
All right,
Get down there.
And
Okay.
she pats her chest.
Well, who's gonna exit first to make sure nobody's watching?
How about Falcon
Falcon.
and I exit first?
Yep.
Okay. Roll a perception check.
Okay. Whew.
So I got an 18.
I got
Okay.
13.
Okay, you both notice that there's no one in here.
Okay. Beautiful.
Do we know which way the cargo is?
From what you can remember, yes. You're gonna have to turn left.
Okay.
Okay. So we just start making our way,
Downtown.
walking fast.
Faces past. And we're cargo bound.
Cargo bound.
Okay. As you make your way through, you finally encounter the stairwell leading down into the cargo hold. You see that there is someone in back there. Let me get the description for him. Okay, he's a human male of pale complexion and red hair, rather bushy mustache and mutton chops. Wears a simple tunic and breeches, and a cutlass is belted to his side, with a crossbow slung over his shoulder. And he goes, "Oi, what brings you here?" Batani, Botuno, I didn't realize you came down this way. Is there something I can help you with?
Nil kind of looks to Akima to see if she was her.
I've come to inspect the cargo. I don't want to tell you no, but I do have my orders. Is this for the captain's sake? Yes. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'll take that one. Okay, all right, I'll let you in. Just, be quick about it, because technically speaking, you know how the captain gets when people go investigating the cargo hold for no reason, even if it is her first and second mates.
We didn't say there was no reason. We have reason.
That's good enough for me. Roll a deception check. What'd you get?
I'm seeing what I have. So 11 plus 4, so 15.
Okay, that's fine. He doesn't. He can definitely tell that you are Batani.
And as they're having this exchange, Falkrin looks at the man and they're like, "Oh, was this the one that you said might need some help with his weaponry? It wasn't looking very good. Is that what you said, Batani?"
Yeah, you seem very adept in the way of weaponry, and I think you could assist him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It would be my... Sir, what was your name?
It's Chimzu, but what are you talking about? My cutlass is fine enough as is.
I mean, I'm not close enough to take a good look, but I'm a bit of a weaponry expert. Would it be okay if... May I look at it?
All right, fine. And with the loud scraping of metal against fur, he removes the cutlass from its scabbard and presents the blade to you.
Okay, so at that point she grabs it and she's just like looking very closely at all the seams. She's like, oh yeah, and just starts asking questions about, well, do you know where it was made? And then kind of bobs her head to the side like, go ahead, guys.
And Nil, as Batani, starts down the way.
Mm-hmm. So you enter the cargo hold, and the other two have definitely got the man's attention. What you see inside is, stereotypical cargo. Boxes, crates, and everything tied and netted down for the journey across the sea. You do notice that there are, in fact, several casks of ales, meads, and some wine. And then in the back, you see a very odd-looking object. It's got a cloth draped over it, so you really can't tell what's underneath.
I'm going to inspect.
Okay. So you can definitely see that the base of this is definitely secured to the deck, so it's not going to be, flying all over the place if the ship finds itself in heavy weather. The cloth is secure for now, but it looks like they didn't really do a great job of securing it. It looks like they just tied off knots to like a couple spars, and then that was it.
So Nil kind of fights the urge to just blast through everything haphazardly, and I'm going to try to untie the knot.
Okay, give me a sleight of hand check, please.
Oh. 15 7 23. 23.
Surprisingly enough, despite the fact that a lot of many able seamen claim that this is the toughest knot that a man can tie, you managed to definitely untie it.
Yes.
In fact, when it comes time to retie these, you will get advantage.
Naughty girl.
Nil is very naughty.
But either way, you make short work of the knots and then remove the cloth itself. Underneath is a set of plate armor, black and trimmed with what looks to be emerald. A couple of ornate pieces of cloth dangle down from the belt, as well as more armor plating. In fact, give me 1 second. quick. Is that it? Is that the one I want to use? No. Not that, not that, not that. Where is that one image I wanted to use? Nope, not that either. There it is. Okay. I'm going to post this in Discord, what she sees, so everyone can see.
Cool.
Oh, I just saw the Ori. Oh, Ori's so cute.
I love him so much. I
Mm.
envision him to be very cat-like.
He has such a tiny mouth.
Right though?
Ooh.
Ooh. Samurai.
Samurai.
And you notice that the armor itself sort of gives off this radiant aura.
I wish I was there and know.
Give me a religion check.
Oh, we sent the wrong
Yes.
person.
Yes,
Okay.
a religion check.
I failed the group.
It's okay.
Your intervention is still in progress.
And then we'll
I
leave
hate
with a
you guys.
conversion.
So 13.
13. All right. So what you know of is this armor bears the blessing of the Raven Queen.
Ooh.
In fact, the aura it exudes, similar to the blade from earlier, it creates an aura of righteousness that fades as you leave it, but becomes stronger when you approach it. So in a sense, it does the same thing that the blade does. It generates a field of radiant energy that sort of repels the undead.
Okay.
Is no gagging?
And
Is no gagging in its presence?
She feels more sure than ever that this is just a ship full of religious assholes trying to get her legs.
Oh no, nobody cares about you enough to orchestrate it.
That's why she's so confused.
if you want, if you have like paper or something you can write down, you can just jot down notes about it and everything if you wanted to.
Okay, yeah, so Nil is going to kind of take notes on it because she doesn't want to be in its gross presence any longer than she has to.
In fact, let me see if I can pull this off. Let's see, does she have the equipment for this? I think she does. Hang on. Cook's utensils, disguise kit.
You know, I don't know if I have any tools, disguise kit, poisoner's kit.
I'd
Does
say she,
Fatima have anything?
I mean, she has a disguise kit. I was looking to see if I gave her paper and ink, but it doesn't look like she has it.
Do I have a... I have a forgery kit.
Okay, if you
There's
want
paper and a
to,
forgery
if you
kit.
want to, you could do like a quick sketch of it or something.
Yeah, alright. So I'll do like a quick... with my forgery kit.
Okay. Yeah, in that case, give me a performance roll.
It's not a good sketch. I got 5.
Oh,
Yeah, Kima takes one look at it, shakes her head, and then takes the paper from you and says, "Let me try this."
oh boy.
Oh, that's better. That's a 15. So she does a far more detailed sketch, but it's not like awesome, cool, and amazing. It gets the basic job of describing what it looks like.
Nil just kind of, ugh. You know, it was all the religiousness of it. It's overwhelming.
Well, religiousness or not, we should put this back.
Yes,
Before
let's,
we get caught.
is that's the only thing under the cloth is that armor?
That is the only thing, is that armor.
Okay, so we'll cover it back up.
Okay. Now, need a sleight of hand check, and remember, you do have advantage because of how well you untied those knots.
18 plus 7 is 25.
Okay.
That was
Somehow,
a good one. Yeah,
somehow,
25.
you managed to replicate the knots perfectly. It's a little odd at how it's done, but you managed to make a passable replication of the knots from earlier, and the armor is once again disguised. Would you like to do any more exploring? Would you like to leave? What would you like to do?
How much time has passed? It's only been like a few minutes, right?
Yeah, it's been like 10, 20 minutes.
I'm want to check the cargo hold, you know, kind of just cursory check since I'm there.
Okay. Give me a
See if there's
perception check.
anything. Nat 20!
Hell
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
My jade dice like me tonight.
Whoa.
Yay. So what you do find is there's actually a box hidden underneath the small panel.
Ooh.
Let's see here. There it is. The campaign story is that. No, there it is. Okay. Yeah, you find that box. Would you like to pick it up? Would you like to investigate what's inside?
Well, I would very much like to investigate the box.
Oh boy.
Okay. You notice that it is locked.
Do I have a lockpicking kit?
Could just take it
Hmm.
and then unlock it later. The voice says inside your head.
But what if they come to look for this while we're on the
Oh, you
ship?
got a point.
They wouldn't know that we took it.
But they would know the
No,
It would
but they would know
kind
that
of
someone took it. And to be quite honest, the 6 people they would immediately
It
gravitate
would
to.
be us. Is the lockpicking kit part of thieves' tools? I can't remember.
You know what? It's a lockpicking kit. I'll give it to you.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to try to pick the lock if I can.
Okay.
Let's check that. He's hoping bull my... Do you need me to roll?
Yes.
I got 16.
Okay. You successfully unlock it.
Yay!
Easier than my game, that's for sure.
Except in your game, I have that little skeleton hand that unlocks everything.
Oh, this is true. And then Lana's just like, God damn it.
The most satisfying thing about it. It's really not about getting to unlock things. It's just about taking that away.
Oh, that's so mean.
What do we find in the little box?
You find a small letter as well as a parcel of gold in a pouch. Roughly 20 pieces.
Ooh. As greedy as Mill can be, she's not stupid, so I'm just gonna leave the gold.
Okay.
And try to read the letter. Is it
Alright,
sealed?
It is not sealed. Surprising.
Okay. I will try to read the letter.
All right, I will
Okay.
give you the contents.
Sweet. Can I roll to see if I know who any of these people are?
You're welcome to try.
Ah. I do not. I got a 3, even if it's
You know nothing. You know
All right.
nothing, Jon Snow.
So I'm just going to... Akima still has the paper with the sketch, right?
Yes.
So I'm just going to motion to Akima and say, come write this, copy this letter. So I have no idea what the hell they're talking about, but I bet one of those
Okay.
clerics might.
All right, give me a second. All right. She successfully replicates a fake of the letter, right down to the various hand strokes, and you now have a copy of the letter.
Sweet. All right. And then if there's nothing else in the box, Nil will just kind of pack it back up and put it back.
Okay.
And
You lock it?
yeah,
Okay.
lock it.
Yeah, it'd be kind of weird.
Relocking the box.
Okay, you put the box back, you close up the small panel, and that's it. That's pretty much all that you can find. Anything of value is either A, sealed away within a crate or something, or it's just not out in full view for someone to find casually.
Nil is just like kind of like itching at wanting to be able to just break into everything, but we're on a shit together, so
Yeah, because right now you're sitting at 30 minutes have elapsed.
she'll suppress all of her urges. All right.
In the meantime, the other two, would you guys like to role play how you're keeping this guard distracted?
By this point,
Like to wait?
Falcon's like, so that's the 14th way that I like to make swords, but the 15th, that's what's gonna get you. That's a good one.
All right. I don't want to hear any more about how you've made swords, okay? You've gotten
Warhammers,
told.
Now, however, there is a question that I have for you. Do you have a particular
Yes,
deity?
what is your question?
Yes, do you have a particular deity that you favor? Do you want a blessing?
God.
Because I could bless the weapon for you. It would just take a moment.
Give me 1 sec. I actually have to look that deity up. I think I forgot. Wait, no, yeah, I actually do have to. Wait, no. Hang on, let me find her
Wait,
character.
agnostic are we?
No, I know. Hang on. Calm down. Shit, it's not in here. All
I'm
right,
gonna
that's
go
okay.
get water. I'll be right back.
Sounds like a plan.
No, that's not it. Where is that? Okay. C domain. Okay. I take it Tina's not back yet.
I'm here.
Okay. Yes, the deity I pray to is Umberly.
Okay, can I do a knowledge religion on that?
Sure.
Same.
Sure.
Oof, I don't know that one. I got 7.
Yeah, you just know that they're a sea deity. That's it.
Okay, I've got a 12.
Okay. What you know is Umberly is the Queen of the Depths, and she maintains domain over the untamed sea. So in this setting, she's considered a patron of sailors and ship captains going out to sea to pray for a safe voyage.
Okay.
In fact, if I remember correctly, they were the blessing that the crew was attempting to do while they were loading stuff onto the ship was a means of appeasing her before they put to sea, so that she, in her jealousy, doesn't turn the ship upside down and sinks it, because they didn't pray to her.
Gotcha.
So she's one of the more minor gods. She's not really that important that everyone prays to her, but so there are some of the older folk that pray to her anyway, just in case they don't want to face her wrath.
Gotcha.
So Umberly is the goddess of the Queen of the Depths,
Cool.
so to speak.
I like it. If you would prefer, I could do this for you, and it would just take a few moments, and it is just a blessing for fortune, in case you come in harm's way.
Okay, by all means.
All right. At this point, she kind of. I'm gonna do a religion check again to remember a chant, more or less, for that deity.
Okay.
That is an 8.
Okay.
I know.
You barely remember the words, but you're unsure if the blessing was successful. But you've done enough that Chimsu is somewhat impressed.
Okay. Excellent. Yay.
You just don't know if the blessing was successful.
I know, right? We have no idea.
Hopefully it wasn't if we have to fight this guy.
Hopefully there was a cast of misfortune because I did the prayer wrong.
He dies mysterious.
Rashida wallowing in bed. Oh no, it's my fault.
All right. So as this happens, what else would you like to do?
Falcon says very loudly, "Oh, it's awful funny that those are those orcs twins? They were walking about and they said, oh, let's give you a nice tour of the ship, and they brought us down here, and we're like, we're not supposed to go that way, and they're like, oh, when you're with us, you can go where you want.
I mean, I've always tried to avoid the two of them. Yes, they are twins, but from what I've seen, so long as you don't piss them off, they're actually the nicest people you'll meet. They're just very terse in their interactions with people, but they're actually pretty nice. In fact, I'm actually surprised they brought you down here. Not really many people are allowed down here, to be honest. So that you must have had them take a shine to you or something.
Oh yeah, we were talking about, weapons and how to make them, and I already went over my 14 ways of bladesmithing with you. I haven't gone into
You told me
Warhammers.
that. I don't need to hear any more about that.
No, and that's fine. We can save that for another time. But I would say it may be best, because some of the things I told you were a bit secret about how to make good weapons. It's probably for the best if you weren't listening too close. But yeah, this. I don't know. I think it might just be good if this was a thing we don't think about.
So what
Again.
you're trying to say is you're trying to tell me to completely forget this conversation now that existed.
That might be best. They call me Sister Blathermouth back at the temple.
Roll me a persuasion check. Actually, no, deception. Trying to deceive him.
Deception is based on charisma.
Is there
Yes.
a way that I could assist her?
100% the wrong people have gone to do the wrong thing.
Oh no, I
Hey,
have
you are
points.
welcome
I have
to
points.
try. You are welcome to try to assist her.
Okay. Oh, I think I assisted her.
What'd you get?
I got a dirty 21.
You know what? Just for that, you get advantage on your deception roll.
Oh, I do?
Yes, you do.
Okay, cool, because my first one, I have -2 in charisma. So I rolled a
You got
10.
that advantage.
I have like a +5.
I got a 10 on my second roll.
Ooh. Okay. Let me see if we can pick through this. So what you're trying to tell me is lying.
What?
And go against my honor as a sailor.
Oh, no, I don't. So remember when I told you about quenching the blade, and sometimes you could use yak's piss instead? That's a trade practice that it's just, if that got out, you know what, it would just be bad.
5 gold.
Whoa.
You give me 5 gold, I'll completely forget this conversation ever happened. Otherwise, I'm going right into that cargo hold and I'm telling Batuno you tried to bribe me.
I think you should.
But I didn't try and bribe you.
Yeah, and who are they going to believe? They're going to believe some guest that showed up yesterday, or are they going to believe the guardsman of this cargo hold?
Well, I've never had my character questioned so profoundly as this.
Well, congratulations, you're having it questioned now. So it's
You
either
know what?
hold or I start walking. Your choice.
You can tell everybody. You know what? We'll find a better way to craft blades if you want to go and use that method. You know, it's probably better for the world if everyone does know.
To use Yax's
So,
you
if I
can't
have
tell
this
the
right-
world that. They'll go
I have
mad.
this
They'll
right-
all go mad.
I'm going
I
mad
have
now.
this right. You're not going to give me that 5 gold, are you?
No, I'm
I'm so
not.
sad that Neil is not here for
Wait
this.
right here, and he walks inside the cargo hold. But you know that this one tried to bribe me? What?
But Tuna, did you know that this man is full of shite?
What do you mean he's full of shite?
Oh no.
He is accusing me of bribing him. If anything, he's forcing me to try and give him money, which I won't do. My honor won't stand for that. I didn't come here to be insulted.
Well, how dare... No, she tried to bribe me.
He's lying. I sure don't. Did I offer anybody money? If anything, I'm so tight on my funds. I'm not throwing it at anybody.
You offered to give me trade secrets, and you willingly gave them to me.
I saw
All I
it.
know, the first port we
I
could
mean,
put in,
you
I
are-
could visit the local armory and give them to the dwarf that's there, or whatever blacksmith happens to be in that store. That's a bribe if there's any.
Bettina, Nil, as Bettina steps in front of them, or between them, and says, "Stop talking. You're giving me a headache, and we need
Roll me an intimidation check.
Ooh.
Nat 20.
Oh!
You watch as Chimsu is about to continue his little rant, and then the sheer fact that Batani just emerged out of nowhere causes him to stop. And he nods his head, says, I'll go back to guarding the cargo hold door.
We will talk to the guest, and we'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
I. He bows his head and leaves.
Falcon over her shoulder goes, I'll pray for you.
He doesn't even respond. He's too busy trying to get back into position to guard the door. Now you have about 10 minutes left before Akima stops being a half-dwarf. Would you like to leave, stay? What would you like to do?
I think we should leave, and I think Butina, the disguised individuals should look like they're giving us a firm talking to.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make a big show of yelling at you guys. And wait. Here?
Hey everybody! I'm having a sleepover with Oh.
That's awesome!
Nice.
Okay, I think they're all super excited.
That's awesome!
I'm very
happy
excited for you. Does Mom get to have a sleepover with Leslie then? Oh.
She's so cute.
Obviously I didn't get to go to Asia's. So yeah, Nil is going to make a big show of, pointing at you and stomping her foot as Bettina.
And Batuno is going to just cross his arms and shake his head.
We do not bribe members of Scarlet's crew. Do you understand?
We absolutely do not bribe members of the crew. That was extortion.
Exactly.
He was trying to make
You
it
do
sound.
not bribe members of the crew. And she winks at Stalker and says, just shut up, because obviously this isn't a real piece.
And then, and Falcon's just like, yeah.
Do you understand?
Sister, do you understand?
Do you understand, Rashida?
I do. I am
Falcon?
very apologetic. It won't happen again.
Good. Now return to your quarters. And be glad we're not going to report this to the captain.
Understood. She sort of like
Go on.
grabs Fulgrin by whatever she can grab her by and kind of totes her along behind her.
Nobody drags a dwarf.
Well, obviously they do.
You all can get your hands off me. I'll go to my quarters. And she just stomps.
Bettina Nil follows.
And
Do we need
Batuno
to
as
roll?
well.
Do we need to roll perception as we go off towards
No,
the
no,
border?
you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, everyone's busy, making sure the ship doesn't capsize.
Right though.
Speaking of which...
Trivial things to busy yourself with.
Ooh, okay.
That's not a good sound.
So I take it you're headed back to your quarters?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
All right.
Yes.
All right. As you enter the quarters, the magic effect wears off, and Akima is no longer Batuno. Well, that was interesting. Close the door, please.
Rashida immediately closes the door. The second everyone's in the room, door closed.
So,
My
Nil,
blades are thirsty for blood.
Nil, shall we show them what we found?
Depends how valuable. Wow, they already paid. Fine.
Yeah, we already
Yes,
paid.
let's say them £1.
Okay. You produce the drawing of the armor.
Can I do a religion check on it?
By all means.
Ah.
I will tell you, because you can't see it looking at it, that thing has a like proper, weird ass fucking feeling to it. Kind of like the blade in Akima's coat there, or wherever it is. It just feels, I don't like
It
it.
felt
It feels like
holy.
it's trying to protect me, and I don't need it to try to protect me.
Are you sure?
I don't want it to try to protect me.
Alright.
Falcon
I
is
will
still
say-
visibly angry. And
I'm sorry about yelling at you lot, by the way. Didn't,
that man
didn't get joy in it.
accused me of trying to bribe him.
Well, that's a compliment, isn't it? I mean, good for you, breaking out your mold.
I want blood. I want blood. Oh, Morden, help me know. Okay, show me the drawing or whatever you've got of it. He said it felt righteous. Oh, that's what we need with scoundrels like him on this boat.
It felt,
Well, to be fair, this is a pirate ship. They're all scoundrels.
I mean, yeah.
That's true. That's true. They could all use some goodness. I would like to do a smithing check. I don't. Is there a specific skill that's associated with smithing?
I mean, I'll accept an intelligence check, a history check.
Okay, I'll do history.
Okay.
I get a 15.
15. Okay. Okay. How do I say this?
Death.
Aw,
It's
these are
really
my
good.
favorite words. While Falkern tries to study it, Nils tosses the letter to them too. And says, "We found that letter in there too.
Is it in
Can't make heads or tails of it."
Is it like in any particular language, or is it common?
It's in common.
Okay. Rashida will read it.
Okay, give me 1 second.
No worries. Sorry. Giving the DM too much to do.
Bollocks.
There you go. That's what it says.
Thank you.
This armor looks like the armor of, do you know Gen Z? He's one of the ethereal ones.
She.
She.
Yeah, no, you said the word ethereal, so obviously you've lost me.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal to have on a ship like this.
Does Rashida remember anything about the Corva or like the mention of an index?
Give me a history check.
Okay. It's a 10.
It's a 10. Okay, let's see. How can I parse this to you? Okay, and this will be for the benefit of everyone, because I'm pretty sure Rashida will explain it, but
Yeah.
roughly about 200 years ago, there was a conflict that rose up in the realm of Angamar between the Krenim Imperium and the Kingdom of Darmok. Now, these two powers have always had, scuffles like these, but in the center of it was the involvement of a dragonborn sorcerer named Corva. Corva was attempting to bind the power of Tiamat to her, so she could essentially bring about the prophecy of the dragons. She ultimately failed because of the intervention of the ethereal ones, at great cost of their own number. But ultimately, her body was destroyed and her spirit banished to another realm. At least that's how the tale goes, from what you could remember.
Okay.
And the armor is like of one of the ethereal ones?
Yes.
To Gen Z, who is her true purpose with being part of the ethereal ones was that she was a demigod chosen by the Raven Queen to stop Corva. Which I'm thinking works out on a morally good scale, so I think I'm okay with that.
So why would they need the armor? I mean, honestly, for me, it sounds like it could be used in a spell.
I would hope it's going to good folks.
I don't think it
Well,
is.
seeing as we're on a pirate ship, I don't think it's being used for a holy purpose.
And considering this letter, it says, "May Korva rise," which entails that they are not on a good side.
Oh,
They are on
no, I don't
Korva's
think we want
side.
Corva to
Oh, yeah.
rise.
Corva's the bad thing, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, and that's the end of the lecture. Oh, that makes sense now. I had no idea what the fuck they were saying.
They mentioned
there's no
something
clue.
about a duke, however.
They did.
A duke.
So who is this duke?
I mean, what they said in the that they said that essentially the place that we're going to, what could I do, like a knowledge local of some kind or geography to understand who the duke is of the location that we're going to?
Sure.
Oh, can I do that as well?
Sure.
Have I tried to kill this?
Right though.
11. Is that history?
Yes.
So I have 12.
I got a 5.
Okay. All right. You
And may I
don't remember
also-
anything, but wait, what's that?
May I also? Oh, I got it. I
mean,
got a
I
6.
don't see why not. Oh yeah. No.
I know nothing.
Okay. So here's what you do know. You do know that the port of Jalad is ruled by Queen Marva. Now, Marva is the eldest of a family of nobles. Specifically, let's see, did I even name this guy?
Feel that though.
Crap, I don't even think I named him. That's not cool at all.
Hey, I mean,
Frank.
sometimes
His name
there's
is
always a
Smith.
thing called
Iron
an
Let me name this. Let me name these guys first. All right.
That's fine.
I love that Summer felt the need to put the headphones on and tell all of you that she was having a sleepover.
It's adorable. That was cute.
So cute.
I've missed playing.
Yeah, 'cause it's been a long time for you since you've actually played and not DM.
I also I'm just so happy that we got to have another game so soon after the
So
last
soon,
one.
right?
Because like after that one, I woke up the next morning and go, game? No.
Dungeons
Okay.
and Dragons.
All right. So here's what you know. You know Queen Marva is currently in charge of the city, and she has one brother and 2 cousins. Her brother is Duke Charles, who is the second in line to the throne. So if she were to die or, abdicate her throne, he would become king. And then there are the 2 cousins, the eldest being Duke Earl, and then Duke Einberg. Earl is third in line should Charles and Marva pass away or give up the throne, and Einberg is right after him.
Okay.
Yep.
And they're all Dukes?
All 3 of those are
All
Dukes.
3 Dukes. So it could be any of the Dukes.
It could be the one next in line. It would make sense for it to be him.
I mean, this is some pretty heavy weaponry. It could also be the bottom of the line, trying to take out a lot of numbers.
Oh, that is true. That would be probable.
Can I roll to see if I, yeah, if I know anything about Earl or Einberg?
You can try.
I doubt I do.
You may give it a go.
Ooh,
There you go.
15 plus 1, so 18.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh, it. Mill is a high roller.
She's
And
not
what did
very
you-
good
I like
teacher.
Will.
And what did you want to find out?
If I know much about Earl or Einberg, if I have encountered them on any
Ah.
line.
You haven't encountered them
Alcohol helps me
directly, but you have heard rumors about them.
Okay.
That Einberg, while he is fourth in line, he's actually not the kind of type to go stabbing people in the back to get things. So he's not exactly power hungry. Earl somewhat is the most despised of the 2. Marva hates them both because she hates their father, who essentially put her on the throne in the first place because he killed the king. But as part of the queen's justice instead of the king's justice, she had him executed.
So not a lot of love there.
No. So Earl and Einberg, while they're not, what's the word I'm looking for? They're hated by the queen, but they're not completely despised because she knows that they have their place and their usefulness. As for whether or not they hate her for murdering their father as, justice, you can't tell. In fact, it's actually a little bit scary in the fact that they haven't shown any outward hostility towards her because of that. Charles, on the other hand, is, of course, the dutiful brother. Even though he's second in line, if she were to die, he sees more of this as an opportunity to help strengthen the two of them, as well as solidify their power. Because her son is the Marquess, and he actually is next in line by blood if she were to pass away. If both of them die, then it becomes Duke Charles. If Charles dies, then it becomes Earl. If Earl dies, then it becomes Einberg. But right now, it's the Marquess who is the current next in line for the throne.
Because he's technically an edgelord.
God damn it.
It's not going to try to get in his hands. How old is the Marquess?
He is 18.
Oh, wow.
Oh, so he's legal.
He's legal.
Exactly.
Not that would stop him.
Right.
That provides a problem considering he is now of the age that he can marry. So if he so chose, he could marry and then take the throne from the queen if she allowed it.
So it's not to say that the queen hasn't requested this armor.
You never know.
Power hungry enough.
Why would we suggest that those in power would be wanting this for bad purposes?
Falcon. Mill actually falls to the floor laughing.
I know bad people exist, I think, but I just don't understand. The people in charge should be good.
It's evil is very
from what I've seen,
Literally, the opposite.
ruler is good. Some just appear good, but their motivations aren't.
Can I tell you a secret, Falcon? It's usually the ones who appear the most good who are, in fact, the most evil. I have done my worst deeds when I have appeared the nicest. I'll tell you that much.
I don't know if I'm having more trouble imagining you being nice, or if I don't know. I don't know. All of this is bizarre to me. I mean, I know people aren't good all the time, but
People are good sometimes.
I feel like we should be able to trust authority figures.
Oh dear God, Falcon.
That's not
Oh dear, your God. Well, how old are you, Falcon?
I'm 30, which is young for a dwarf. Don't look at me like that.
in my mind, I'm just like, she's a wee babe.
You've got a lot of life. You've got a lot of life to live, and I'll be happy to help you live it. But first lesson to learn is authority figures equal bad most of the time.
Now, question for the group. This is out of character.
Okay.
Technically speaking, we're at the point on the ship that I wanted to do. If you want, we could skip ahead to you guys just landing in the city and going from there, or we could just call it quits for that. Your choice.
What time is
I'm
it?
good to go to
Oh,
the
it's
city.
9.
I'm good to
Yeah,
go to
I'm
the
cool.
city.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of alcohol preparing to be nil, so I could go for a very long time.
I mean, as long
Okay.
as you're okay with me grabbing like a couple crackers and some hummus, I'm down.
No,
Sure.
Okay.
no.
Snack time right now. I'm in on that.
I may go grab a snack as well.
Okay, I'm going to go refill my water and rocks.
Other one.
Looks like it.
All right, so after 5 more days at sea, a storm hits. Ship manages to make it out. Everyone's a little shaken, of course, but they're not. This isn't They're used to it, so they shake it off pretty easily. And then finally, at dawn of the 6th day, you see a very imposing mountainscape, a mountain range on the horizon. In fact, off to the distance let's see, you're heading northwest. So off to the west, you see what appears to be a volcano. And this volcano is attached to a very long spar of land that juts out from this mountain range into the ocean.
I just feel like we should call me.
To the right, you see what appears to be a much more densely packed series of sandbars leading into a rather large seaport, which is nestled within the mountainside. And that is the city of Jalad. So as the ship makes its way in, you see that this is a very large port. In fact, the entire thing is situated within a bowl-like formation that creates a very large bay. And the pier is at the northern edge of the bay, but it runs enough of the mountainside that a lot of ships can dock there in addition to supporting, a multi-tiered city built into the mountains.
That's cool.
And then the highest of the isolated hills that actually sits towards it sits to the right of all of this is actually where the castle is located, and that's referred to as the royal Queen's Mount. There we go. And that little plateau of land where the castle sits is essentially pretty much the main point of keeping an eye on the city as well as the ocean around it. So as the ship ties up, you notice that a half-elf woman approaches as the gangplank is lowered and Captain Scarlet descends. She approaches the captain, words are exchanged, a pouch of money is passed to her, a note is scribbled in her book that she carries with her. The half-elf nods her thanks, passes the pouch to an attending halfling who runs off, and the half-elf proceeds on up the pier. The captain boards the ship again and announces, "Right, I've paid for a week's stay. You're all welcome to partake in the city's offerings. Just whatever you do, please, for all that is holy, don't destroy any taverns. I don't want to have to pay for the entire fees like I did when I left Seabreeze. Okay? Please, thank you. If I have to do it again, I'm taking it directly from your pay. I'm not kidding this time. Good? All right, you're free to go. Now, my guests," and as the crew disperses, now that they're free of the ship for a good amount of time to go hit the bars, the captain approaches the 6 of you and gathers you around in a little circle. "Thank you all for participating in the protection of the ship, even though nothing was seen or heard or any action to be had. I promised you each a share of 100 gold, and you each shall have it." She claps her hands once, and Batani appears, a chest in her arms, and she opens it and disperses out the appropriate amount of 100 gold each. So you all get 100 gold.
Nice.
Sweet.
Services rendered.
Rashida is happy. That means she can buy food. It's literally all that is on that girl's mind. You make her food, you buy her food, she's with you forever.
She's a cat.
That's probably why her and Ori get along so well.
Her baby cat and bigger cat.
Can someone give me a perception check, please?
Absolutely. I got 17, 19, 19, 20.
20, okay. So as this is happening, you notice a dark-robed figure board the ship. They look around for a bit, and then they see the captain, and then the captain looks up from the dispersal of coins, politely excuses herself, and proceeds over to converse with the man. They travel towards the bow, still deeply engrossed in conversation, until finally, give me another perception check, please.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
What'd you get?
I got a 19 plus 3.
Okay. You see a large pouch of gold is passed from the man to the captain. The captain nods and then she turns her head and locks eyes with someone. To your left, you see Batuno nod, and then he looks over to the monk that, brought you to your quarters earlier. And both of them nod and head deep into the ship.
Okay.
The dark-robed figure separates himself from the captain and proceeds back onto the pier, and the captain goes about inspecting the ship.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Does anyone think maybe we should just carefully follow?
I mean, that's up to you.
Rashida doesn't think it would be wise to reveal the fact that we know currently. And we should be in a secure location before any revealing of that kind should be given.
Falkrin doesn't want to be disrespected again.
If they go down to get that statue for that guy, then it's gone. Then I say we just keep an eye on what happens, at least, if no one wants to go follow him.
I think we should keep an eye, just for now.
We can maybe sit on the pier, have a nice snack. We got well paid.
Mm-hmm.
So Falkrin is having an existential crisis at the thought of authority figures being bad.
Just wait until Falcon learns about all the horrible things Neil has done at the behest of authority figures.
Oh, God.
Oh. Let's slide her into that easily, shall we?
Alright, let's go watch the ship from the docks and have a lovely, lovely picnic.
All right.
Down for food.
Where are you getting food from?
Is there ice cream?
Hmm?
Can we
Is
go
there
have
a place that has ice cream?
a cornetto?
No.
How about salted pork?
So, let's see. So, conveniently, there is a signboard that sits in like a nexus of all the different piers and docks that has a very crude but detailed map drawn on it of the port. So the port is someone give me a history check.
Oh. Nope.
Yeah?
I'll do one.
Okay.
Ooh, not one.
Oh my god, me too?
I got a 16.
Okay. So
Jade, what did you do to us?
I know.
I'm so sorry. It's the alcohol. I think it helps me roll better. I swear I played Risk better when I was
considering
drunk.
that you actually used to live in Angamar. So the port is situated at the mouth of the Ganjala Valley, which is, that part of that mountain range you saw on your way in. Jalad serves as the gateway to Angamar from the south. As such, her ports and harbors are bustling centers of life, despite the rather dreary, rain-soaked land it rests in. The port, as it is called, sits just west of where the eastern Tyne empties into the ocean, given that the waterway covered by the city is restricted to those with royal approval. So there's essentially a sort of fortification that guards a portion of the river that comes through the city and empties into the ocean. And it's pretty much used as a security gate. So that way anyone trying to get into the actual land itself has to go through the port. Either way, to get to the port from the north, one must traverse a network of caves and rivers that cut into the Karima mountain range to exit into Jalad's Basin, which is the bay in which you sit. But the most important thing is, within the port itself, there are plenty of shops, eateries, armories, pretty much everything you are going to need to stock a ship for a voyage at sea. Of note, there is the Marlin Spike, which is one of the more popular watering holes found around the lake. Basically, a lot of the sailors like hitting up this place because it's within walking distance of the many piers. Let's see here. There's the Broken Oar, one of the more popular watering holes of the city. It also doubles as an inn, so it's also a great place to, get a place to stay for the night. And then there's the Broken Crate, which is a general shop of everything an adventurer needs. Those are the three that are the most prominent. I mean, there's like plenty more, but they aren't as, they're not as well stocked as these three. So with that check, that's what you know is, one, the port's pretty much where you're going to find everything, and then two, those are the three places of note that you should probably check if you wanted to get food, lodging, or just supplies.
Which one is closest to the ship where we could keep an eye on the ship?
That would be the Marlin Spike,
Spike.
but a lot of the crew gravitated because it's the closest bar in town. So a lot of the crew headed out there.
Then I'll just share with the group, well, we could go to the Marlin Spike like the rest of the sailors. I guess we're not really going there for a good time. There's the Broken Oar. I think I've heard of that place. Scarlet mentioned it. We could get a room there too. And then if you want to shop, there's the Broken Crate. But for now, let's go get some food and drink and keep an eye on things.
I think I like that idea, Neil.
I like that as well.
Oh, look at that. I finally said something you like. I wonder if that means it was right then. Well,
Falkrin just stares.
Nil is completely unfazed and barely even notices.
Oh, God.
Do you want to get food and sit at the pier, or would you like to try to watch the pier from where you go get food?
Whatever you think is best, Nil.
Oh, are you making me an authority figure because I'm a bad person? Have you finally learned how that works? And Nil just laughs and pats her really hard on the back again and walks forward.
Falkrin thinks very strongly about how good it would feel to just feel your blood trickle down the blade of the knife that she keeps at her side. She's like, no, Morden, no. Keep me from these thoughts.
Nil saunters carefree down the pier toward Broken Oar so she can get a beer.
Don't mind her. It's fine. Rashida says, and she walks alongside Falkrin.
Thank you, Rashida. I don't. Let's go have a drink.
Yeah, I think some food will help. I think food, some drink, a close eye on that man.
Yes. Want to make sure that goes well.
Indeed.
All right, so you're all going to the Broken Oar?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeet.
All right, so you make your way to the Broken Oar. As you can see, there's the typical assemblage of humans, dwarves, halflings, gnomes, a couple half-orcs here and there. It's very rare to find an elf or a dragonborn here, however. And
What about Drow?
I was about to get to that, actually. Occasionally what you do see are figures with very heavy-looking cloaks and hoods pulled up. And the one time you do get a glimpse of what is underneath, you do see, the telltale characteristics of a drow. Cobalt dark skin, white hair, glowing eyes, that sort of thing.
Or Nil. Yeah. Nil has put her hood up since they're in sunlight.
It's very obvious that they don't want to be, interfered with, and they're just there to get their business done, pretty much.
Okay.
So you proceed to the Broken Oar. As you enter, you notice that it's not as tightly packed as you would expect, but then again, it is early in the morning. You do notice that there are a few patrons that are, of course, passed out because, of course, they're passed out since the night before. Among them, there is a brown-skinned dwarf with long flowing hair, and she has part of her dress hanging off of one shoulder, revealing a rather large, ornate, heart-shaped tattoo with a knife through it, sitting atop one of her breasts.
Someone had a good time last night. Can I pickpocket her?
Oh my god!
Are you kidding me? You're going to pickpocket the proprietor of the inn?
I don't know who the fuck she's passed out, right?
No, so I actually do apologize. I was describing the proprietor, which is the dwarf.
No, I was going to try to pickpocket the people that are passed out.
Okay, go ahead and do a sleight of hand check.
11 plus 7, right?
I love
So
how,
18.
her first response is pickpocket.
Okay.
With the body.
So as you go to reach for the first person, you feel a rather large weight hit your hand. And as you notice, a gold coin drops to the floor. But more importantly, you see that the dwarf has her hand outstretched, arm outstretched, hand extended towards you as if she flung it at you and says, you leave them be. You find yourself a table. I'll get to you in a second.
I was just making sure she was alive. I'm a doctor.
I
Is she
don't care.
okay?
I don't
Are they
care.
dead?
You come into my place and you start pickpocketing the poor souls that drunk themselves into a stupor. Go sit down.
I'm just making sure
Go
they're
sit
okay.
down.
I will go
Either sit down or I'm coming over there myself. And trust me, you want to see a dwarf run? I'll show you a dwarf running real fast. Now go sit down.
Neil thinks about it for a second.
I like her.
Go sit down. I'm not kidding right now.
Reminds me of your mom.
Anyway, she goes about her business and finally wanders over and says, all right, pickpocketing the those who could not hold their drink aside. Welcome to the Broken Oar. Give me 1 second. Where did I put the name for her? Okay, here we go. My name is Salvania. I am the proprietor of this respectable establishment. We offer both the services of tavern and inn. If you're looking to get breakfast, which will be ready in a couple minutes, we're still getting warmed up for the day. I can, however, get you something to drink. What would you be interested in? And no alcohol.
That's fine.
It's too early.
Do you have orange juice?
Me.
Yes, we do have orange juice.
I'd love some
So that's one orange juice. Okay, for the rest of you?
If I could get just a nice cup of tea.
Okay, what flavor tea were you looking for?
Oh, do you have like a breakfast blend?
I know just the one. It's got a lot of citrusy, orangey taste to it in the aftertaste. I'll get you a cup of that.
Thank you.
And for you, Madame Drow, what can I get you?
Oh, no alcohol at all. What time do you start
No.
serving?
When the sun goes down. How's that sound?
Fuck me.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's breakfast
I mean,
time.
yeah, I know. And alcohol's meal.
No, it's not. It's a respectable establishment. If you don't want anything to drink, that's fine by me. It saves me the
No.
trouble.
Oh, I can't
Okay,
think of anything I'd like
nothing
to drink.
for you
Thank
then.
you.
And you, Miss Human. What can I get for you? Makima just sits there, thinks for a couple of seconds, and asks, "Do you have coffee?" Yes, we do. Would you like cream and sugar? Of course, I'll take both. All right, then a coffee for the human, or orange juice for the. I'm sorry, are you a human as well, or?
Yes.
Okay, orange juice for the human, tea for the dwarf, nothing for the drow. All right, I will be back in a few minutes. And she wanders off.
Nil crosses her arms and kicks her feet up, like onto the table, and just says, "You should have gone to the bloody mall and spike. The sailors there, you know they're drinking."
Falcon appears and
Nothing more about that place. Get your stupid orange juice and your stupid breakfast, and let's go sit out on the stupid pier. I'm so sorry. I really need alcohol. The sooner we can get alcohol, the nicer I'm going to be, I promise you.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I mean,
There is hope for you.
is there a way that...
Jade, roll me a perception check.
Who?
Jade.
What is my perception? I have 2, right? So 16.
With 16, okay. You notice a flask is being passed to you from Akima.
I love Akima so much. Nil just looks at Akima with all the love she could ever muster in her heart and just nods and says, "Thank you."
You're welcome.
And just throws it back, but Nil, knowing how the importance of alcohol, only drinks like half.
It's water.
Ah!
Then she takes it and puts it in Akima's face.
Oh wait, I forgot
Now.
to tell you. I only keep that thing for appearances. I generally keep it filled with water. I do apologize. I lost my head for a second there. I haven't had anything to eat yet.
Falcon reaches over to shake hands with
Yeah.
Akima.
No shaking hands. I just completely forgot. That's my mistake. I'll buy you a drink later. I do apologize.
I'm so
I completely forgot I kept that thing filled with water.
How do you forget that you've put water in your flask?
Don't know. Because
Alcohol in it.
Probably because I don't drink from it as often.
I think that because you willed it enough, it'll be filled with alcohol. I'm sure that.
It's not like I could just whisper a command phrase and all of a sudden it's filled with never-ending whiskey or something.
If you could,
I
I would
mean,
literally do anything you ask.
anything?
Pretty much, yes. If you
I'll have
want
to keep this in mind. You see
I
her
would do
stroking
that.
her chin rather thoughtfully as she says this.
Rashida
that's a
slowly
happy
pets
reward.
Ori, who also ponders upon these thoughts. His head's poking out from her shirt and she just slowly strokes.
Mill, being sober and not having her wits about her because she's sober, looks over and momentarily forgets that you have a dragon in there and just goes, why are you stroking your boobs at the table?
I'm sorry.
Why is the door yelling at you?
I'm not stroking my boobs, I'm stroking Ori.
Oh,
pets.
oh yeah, he's got the pet in the shirt.
Yes.
I forgot.
He was begging. He was
I'm-
begging for pets. I've been neglectful this morning. I need to take care of him.
I am just painfully sober.
We'll fix that in a bit. How about that?
Ugh, fine. Get your stupid orange juices.
All right, as you see, the Salviana returns with her drinks and then passes them out. Okay, now that that's all done with, we do have breakfast ready. Currently have eggs, bacon, and toast. That's all for now.
I like all of that.
Okay, so that's a serving of eggs, bacon, and toast for you. Anyone else?
I will have bacon, please.
Okay, a side of bacon.
I will have bacon as well, but not a side. Just so much bacon.
Okay, a lot of bacon for the dwarf. Interesting.
It's like Ron Swanson. Give me all the bacon you have.
Yes, I'm
And,
glad I wasn't
and I said all, not a lot.
I got all the bacon you have. You understand me, son? I do.
Neil, it holds the flask up to a team and says, I am keeping this, just so you know.
You're not keeping that, trust me.
It's in my hand.
Uh-huh.
Unless it's one of your little enchanted friends.
Roll me a perception check. What'd you get?
Five.
A 5 overall?
Yeah.
The flask is no longer in your hand.
Beautiful.
I hate my life.
I rolled her sleight of hand and got a 9.
That's
Damn. Alright, fine. It's not like there was alcohol in it anyway.
All right, so she wanders off with the orders. The chemo orders just eggs and bacon, and that's it. And yeah. Now y'all wait for your food. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
Is there like a kind of like a clear way for us to see the ship at this point, or not really?
Yeah, I mean, you can still see the ship. I mean, you're not as close as you would have been if you were at the Marlins, but you definitely got a good view of the ship from here.
Okay. Could I roll to see any like change in regards to like who's exiting and entering onto the ship?
Sure.
I got a natural 20.
Okay, so what you do notice is the monk and Batuno are now hoisting out the crates. And the crate looks, if you were to point this out to either Nil or Kima, that they would recognize that the crate is just about the right size to hold the armor.
Okay. I definitely
And
pointed
either
out.
way, you can't tell if it's the same person, but there is a dark cloaked figure that's watching over this, as well as a cart that's waiting on the pier for them, for the crate to be lowered into.
I'd like to follow that cart.
I don't think we have time to wait for breakfast.
Ugh.
I think we need to go investigate. Because if we let them leave, it's all gone. You don't know where it's gone.
True. Oh,
Are you that
I
hungry?
mean, I'm always,
It's like I'm 100 and that's how much I need a fucking drink.
I'm always hungry. That's the problem.
Alright, well just...
How about I
Good.
promise to get, what kind of alcohol is your favorite?
I mean, literally any kind at this
How
point.
about I buy you a full bottle of alcohol in return for you chasing after that cart?
Yeah, alright. I'll put two full bottles of alcohol and I will chase the cart down for you all while you eat.
Okay, I like that plan too. I'll do 2. I can do 2.
Why again?
What size?
Watching.
What size bottle?
Yes, I don't want a stupid little mini
I
bottle.
mean,
I want...
is that a good size?
Yeah, alright. And I want high percentage alcohol.
Okay. Okay.
I don't want the non-alcoholic shit that sometimes people try to trick you in.
I'll make sure that it is not non-alcoholic.
If it is non-alcoholic, I will stab you. I do promise that.
I will promise you that I will endeavor to never be stabbed by anyone.
Alright. Does anybody like to follow the cart with me?
What?
So we don't lose it while you eat your breakfast, or is this just me?
What's going on?
To follow the cart. No one else wants to come?
Nah, I'm good. I'm hungry.
Are we?
Alright. If we don't go now to follow the cart, and you guys stay here and eat, it's going to be taken somewhere and we don't know where.
And we want to know where it's going because we don't want bad guys to have it,
Indeed.
right?
Yes. Okay, how about... Oh, I don't know.
Or somebody might pay us more if we can give them information on it. This is a pretty big thing.
It is.
There's a lot. It's worth a lot to a lot of people to know where something like this is going.
And all I have to know is that anything involving Corva is not good. It's not good for anyone.
Alright, well, even if they're not moving it yet, I will go and see if I can hear anything.
Okay.
So Neil kind of just gets up and...
Okay.
I'll save
Very
your bacon and I'll
unceremoniously
have
leave.
alcohol for you.
Yeah, good luck. Respectable people in this stupid town.
She was gonna suggest you could take Ori, but she doesn't trust you that well yet. That's her baby.
That's very fair. That's very fair and probably smart.
Yeah. She's like, he could empath with me and they'd be able to lock back with each other, but then at the same time, if a familiar gets too far, that's hurtful. So, you know.
It's smart with Nil.
Yeah.
Falkren's still having an existential crisis. She's just like, in her head right now, she's just like, why are they all even still together? Like, but I can't leave them. I feel like they need somebody to keep them out of trouble. I don't know if I can do it.
Rashida's kind of in the same boat, but at the same time, she's actually at the moment like very hyper-focused on anything that mentions Corva at this point.
Interesting. Alright, so Nil is going to go down to the docks to try to stealth and see if she can listen to anything while they're loading the crate up.
Okay. All right. Thankfully for you, it takes a while for them to get the actual crate lifted out of the hold. Because when you first saw it, or was first told to you that, hey, they're lifting it, the top was revealed. So right now, it's currently at the apex, so they just got to move it over and lower it.
Okay.
So I will need a stealth check, please.
Oh, please make that good.
My window loves me. Not 20.
All right, perfect. Yeah, nobody sees you. In fact, if anything, as you leave, you get the sudden sensation that you should probably, if you have a hood, pull it up over your face.
Oh yeah, she did that as soon as they left the ship.
Okay. All right. So now you just look like every other drow that you happen to run across. So you approach within listening distance of the carts, but you don't hear anything indicating that they're, telling them anything of where to go, what to do, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that. What you do see, however, are instructions being passed to the actual drivers of the cart. And as this is happening, the crate is starting to begin its descent into the cart itself.
So it's just the driver that has the instructions?
Yes.
Where is the driver? Like, what is the driver doing?
The driver is just sitting there holding the reins for the horse that's going to be drawing the cart.
What does the driver look like?
Just common, is wearing just simple clothing. Not a whole lot to them. Like, they're not standing out exactly. In fact, they look a lot like a lot of other cart drivers within the city from what you saw on your way over.
Just a mundane human?
Yeah, just mundane. They're very plain and unassuming.
Is anybody paying much attention to the driver?
Not at the moment, aside from the dark hooded figure.
And where does it look like he put the instructions?
It looks like he tucked them into his jacket.
Okay. But the dark hooded figure is watching the driver?
For
Everything.
now, they're exchanging a couple words, but they're speaking. Well, what languages do you speak?
Whatever drow.
Okay, so under common.
Yeah. Thieves can't and Elvish.
Okay, so actually you cannot understand a single word they're saying. They're speaking in a language you do not know.
So Seth's just gonna hang out for a second and keep listening and watching.
Okay. So as you watch, it looks to be final instructions are passed verbally through the language you don't know. And the dark hooded figure walks off and leaves the entire pier. The crate is finally lowered into the back of the cart. The driver, yanks the reins and gets the horse moving, and the cart makes its way down the pier onto the land.
So they've already started moving?
Yeah.
Sue, is anybody else left? Like talking at the pier?
Nope, aside from the crew, not much.
And what, did I see which direction the hooded figure went off in?
Give me a perception check.
No, it's only, I got 10.
No, you can't really tell. It looks like they've just blended in with the rest of the crowd and have moved off.
Shite. I will. How fast is the cart moving? Because he's like in a traffic area.
Not pretty fast. I mean, like average. Like, again, it's, traffic.
Try to follow the cart for as long as I can. I'm going to try to follow it.
Okay. Give me 1 second. All right. I will need a stealth check, please.
Okay. So a dirty 20.
Okay. So you still managed to hold your cover. You still look like, a drow in the city. You notice the cart is starting to take a very zigzag and really random course into the city. They're not exactly headed anywhere specific, but they are making a lot of twists on that path. Roll me a perception check.
Oh, I wish my perception was higher. 14.
14, okay. As you are following the cart, what you do notice is you're not the only one following it. In fact, what your senses tell you in terms of your surroundings, there's at least 2 people following, but they're not exactly following you so much as they're focused on the cart. One is currently moving via the rooftops, and is doing their best to keep themselves concealed, while the other one is still keeping with the crowd and the people that are moving through the city.
Do I recognize them? Can I see either their faces?
Not necessarily, but give me another perception check.
I think I know them. 17.
Okay. What you can tell is that they are bearing the telltale traces and characteristics of Thieves Guild members.
Do I know which Thieves Guild?
You just know that this could potentially be the Jalad chapter of the Thieves Guild. But you just know from your history and experience that they're definite members of a Thieves Guild. And the only logical conclusion you can make is this is the Jalad chapter of the Thieves Guild. If there is, if the network of thieves are still in place.
Nil is going to continue following, keeping an eye on the figure on the roof and the figure in the crowd as well.
Okay, give me 1 second.
And silently cursing her entire party for not coming.
I don't think Rashida would have been much help in this point. To be straight with you, I think she would have been a
I've
sword.
got a guy in a cart. I've got thieves. Get along with Thieves Guild.
Falcon would have chickened out.
All right, as you follow the cart into the city, you do notice that it makes its final destination, which appears to be a rather large mansion set within the mountain itself. Like, at this point, what's the best word I can think of? Like, it looks like the opening in the mountain was naturally formed, and what's the word? So people started building houses and stuff into the actual cliffside itself.
Right.
This particular mansion rests atop a hill that leads into the actual rock face.
Okay.
So this is one of the more premier mansions deep within the mountain. Not, you have to travel into a tunnel or anything, but like this is deep within the depression that's cut into the mountain. So you're quite a distance from the actual bay at this point. But you can definitely sort of make your way back if you wanted to. But you do know that the cart has ended up within this mansion within this part of the city.
I'm going to continue to hold back and see what happens.
Okay, give me a perception check, please.
When you pay her well, she's a really good thief. And, tracker and stalker.
I survived this one somehow. 16.
Okay, so what you do notice is the person that was on the ground is still there. Whether or not they've noticed you, you can't tell, but you do know that their focus is still not on you. They're still focused on, looking at the mansion. What you do notice, however, is that the person that was traveling among the rooftops, even though there are plenty of rooftops around this mansion, you can't find them. So you don't know if they've actually managed to hide themselves or if they're gone.
Okay.
But pretty much the cart is now within this mansion and it's not going anywhere. So you don't know if this is the overall final destination or if it's being moved elsewhere.
Is there anything in the mansion, like an insignia or initials or anything that would indicate possibly who might live there or the identity of the person?
Not necessarily. You just know that it's a rather fancy-looking building.
And what is, like, the person that I see that was, like, on the ground, what are they doing? Are they, like, just, I see them hiding behind something, watching
Not
it?
necessarily. They're still, it's like an Assassin's Creed where you go hide in a group of people and you get automatic cover from the town guards. That's essentially what
They're kind of...
they've just decided to hide themselves in a group of people.
I'm still going... Neil wants to go back and tell the others, but he feels like they're useless. So I'm just gonna hang out for another second. Watch for just another second.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, there's not much coming from the mansion at this point, or the
sitting there. And the guy on the ground is still just kind of same thing.
Yeah,
waiting.
they're still in the crowd, not really doing much.
All right. how long would it take for me to go back to the broken ore?
I'd say about a good maybe 30 minutes.
Your bacon is so cold.
Or eaten.
Probably been eaten.
Alfred wouldn't dare.
Nor would Rashida, she made a promise.
How far am I from the mansion right now?
Right now, you're a good, I'd say, about 20 feet away. Like, from what you can tell, there's like a main thoroughfare that leads straight up to the mountain, and then there's, of course, the side street that intersects that thoroughfare, leading to other parts of the city. But you're like at that corner where the thoroughfare meets that side street, as well as the front of the mansion.
All right. Can I inspect the area for like what would be the easiest entry point to that mansion?
Give me a perception check.
Oh, 9.
9? Okay.
Yeah.
You can't really tell much. Like, you do know that the fact that there is a wall that, as with all, rich property, there's a wall that surrounds and protects it. But you can't really see any obvious signs of how to get in quietly and easily.
And what was the other thing I was going to ask? I can't remember. Easy ways to get in. Oh, are there lots of guards there? Like, is there anybody kind of guarding the mansion that I can see, or is it just kind of tucked away?
You do notice that there are guards there, but they're dressed in the livery of the town guard.
Okay. So I guess for now, I kind of want to go in.
Mm-hmm.
Don't blame her.
But Nil really needs alcohol to perform well. So she's going to go back to the pub, knowing that she is just painfully sober and has a headache, and will not be the best little killer that she can be. So, yeah, I'm gonna since I've lost sight of the person from the rooftop, and the other guy just kind of seems to be in the crowd. Can I get closer to him to try to inspect him better?
You can try, but I recommend a stealth check.
All right. Oh, 18 plus.
Nice.
7.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, they can't see you.
Okay. So I'm going to try to get a little closer to the guy in the crowd just to see if I can recognize him.
Okay, they don't stick out to you in terms of like somebody from your past that you'd recognize, but the uniform definitely has, like you remember, like, I don't know if you've played Assassin's Creed or not, but like every single one of the assassins had like that signature hood and like the signature belt and everything. So it's something similar, but like, it's like the signature armor pieces, signature boots and gauntlets that, wouldn't be uncommon from like a mercenary or a sellsword, but it's common among thieves that they'll have like special gear that allows them to get in and get out of a place as well as survive a little fist fight if needed.
Okay.
So he's pretty much just wearing standard Thieves Guild gear.
Right. All right. So knowing that and knowing that he probably has a guild to protect him too in this town, no one knows better than to fuck with them. So she's going to go back to the pub.
Okay.
With this information.
Smart fucking girl.
The cart is kind of just sitting there, right?
Clever girl.
No. So from what you could tell is it went through the gate that was in front of the mansion and then actually went inside the mansion.
Inside the
So it's
mansion.
like
Okay.
in the courtyard and unloading and shit at this point.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So yeah, Nil's going to go back to the pub.
Give me a perception check.
Oh, please be good.
Death rains down from the sky. We are all handed a death certificate.
15.
What was that?
15?
15? Okay. You notice that the one that was traversing the rooftops, they're back and they're following you now.
Oh.
But from the rooftops, it doesn't look like they're, trying to pursue you as if they're going to attack you, but they're like, they're pretty much doing the same thing you did for the cart. They're just following it, keeping an eye on you. Like, they're not going to engage, but they do want to see who you are. Where are you going?
So Nil is going to try to lose herself in the crowd and then duck into a store.
Okay, that's going to be a stealth check, please.
Oh. Okay, I'm going to try this a different way. Keep falling. 13 plus, what is my stealth? 7, so it's a dirty 20.
Okay, actually that...
It's the alcohol. I need to always drink when we drink.
Right?
You managed to lose them,
Okay.
but you're not, you like, it's not very
Don't feel
obvious.
good.
You get the assumption that that you've lost them, but you can't tell for sure.
Okay. So Nil's just kind of like gonna look in the store for a second, then go back out into the crowd, get lost in the crowd, go into another store, take side streets around, and not take a very direct path back to the pub.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it probably takes her like over an hour to get back to the pub. I would say probably at least an hour.
I gotcha.
By then, I probably have already ordered you another thing of bacon.
I wonder if you guys even wonder, is she dead? Is she ever? Like, how long do you wait?
I think Rashida at this point might be like a little worried because she's just like, oh god, did I just send this bitch to her death? Like, do I even need to go get the alcohol? Maybe I need the alcohol for myself.
Falkren's just...
Still having an existential crisis?
I think she's resolved within herself now. She's like, no, I think I was led to know these people, and I'm supposed to go somewhere with them. I'm just gonna have to have faith on that. But I don't like how, there's some things I don't like, but I don't hate these people. So I'm gonna stick around. But if she's not back in another 30 minutes, we might have to go looking for her.
That sounds about right. She hasn't come back yet. I mean, her bacon's still sitting there. I'm half tempted to eat it myself.
I mean,
You can't eat her bacon. You can order your own bacon,
I'll probably
or
order her another thing of bacon so that way she has something
replace
a little warmer.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, and Akima just eats her share of bacon.
And then Rashida will order a new thing of bacon for her.
Also, Falkren, now that she's resolved herself, has located her flask in her bag and has decided that if and when she returns, she may offer alcohol. She hasn't fully decided.
I was actually about to ask too, like if it's already been kind of like 30 minutes to like an hour and they've already eaten, like Rashida was like high key thinking about getting the alcohol before she got back.
I mean, you can if you want.
Noah's just cannon fodder for you people. We're gonna throw her into the dangerous thing.
Nil has volunteered to go and do this.
That's true.
You're like, let's do it, and we're like, no, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna do it anyway.
She's gonna do it in spite of the fact that we told her not to do it.
You were right back.
Okay.
3 words that Nil needs to hear. I'll pay you.
Like, we appreciate your enthusiasm, but we won't finance what you want to do. We're not going to do it. Did y'all hear that thunder?
Oh man, no. Sadness.
She is in a different state, though, Tina.
What?
She is in a different state.
Oh, she is. Oh, what? That makes me sad.
There was thunder earlier.
I was hoping my mic might have picked it. Actually, it's probably for the best if my mic doesn't pick that up.
Well, what's sad is like it's supposed to rain here too, and it hasn't done anything.
Aw.
We got some wimpy thunder for a second.
I do love a good rainstorm.
Same. I want it to rain all the time, and then the world will flood and it'll be over.
I've never been more proud of words in your mouth.
I'd just be content with the crumble of society as we know it.
Yeah.
I think we're getting there.
Yeah,
I do think we're getting there.
I hope we can run away to the woods and live off the land.
I mean, I just prayed to God to give me cancer so I don't have to deal with it no more.
No. Tina, you can at least pray for a faster way to die. That one's suffering. I don't want you to get cancer.
Either. I'm just joking. I did pray about that though when I was like 6 years old. I was just like, can I have cancer so I can die?
Oh my gosh, Tina. I'm glad the answer to that prayer was no.
Right though, same.
No.
As a 6-year-old child, I did not understand.
No. Oh my goodness.
I actually went on with you.
Right, so I'm back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Okay, have you made it back yet?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay,
I'm probably.
before you do, roll me a perception check.
Ah, fuck.
Roll good. Roll good.
Apple. 13.
Okay. As you finally make your way onto the street that leads right to the broken ore, you get bumped by someone who apologizes, "Excuse me, sorry, didn't see you there," and just blends right back into the crowd. You feel a sudden weight has added itself to your pocket.
Just don't be.
I'm gonna search my pocket.
All right, you find a wooden disc with a piece of parchment strapped to it.
Ah, fuck me.
Got a strap on.
It's got a strap on. I mean, it's wooden too, so that doesn't sound comfortable. Jade, are you okay? Did I murder
You
her?
killed her. You killed her.
Yes, that's payback for all the times you guys murder me.
Okay, what does the parchment? So it's just a little wooden disc.
Yeah, it's a
Hey.
wooden disc with a scrap of parchment strapped to it.
It's
Essentially.
not about size.
Is it a hard disc?
Hmm?
That's at least
Is
been
it hard?
waxed.
It's made of wood.
It could be soft wood. It could have been left out in the rain.
Uh,
What is the parchment?
Is
That's
it
what the
cedar
message
or
says.
oak?
You sometimes regret.
Yeah.
Think back to that day in Java House. Like, I just should have turned around. I'm so sorry.
He's like, oh god, what have I gotten myself into? I should not have made a character.
Ooh.
Oh man.
But yeah, that's what the message says to you.
Okay. Wait, do I have any knowledge of the crab warren?
No.
She when she reads it, grumbles to herself and crumples it up at first simply because she's so frustrated that she was seen,
Mm-hmm.
and then uncrumples it and reads it because that was stupid.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna go back in first and tell the tip of what she found.
Okay.
So she just gloriously walks through the door and says, "I return victorious and
Ha!
alive, very alive. You can't get rid of me that easily. Where's my alcohol?"
Oh god. Did I manage to purchase her some alcohol in the midst of that time? Because that would have been the thing that I would have liked to have done.
Yes,
Okay.
you do manage to find a very exemplary sample of alcohol in the form of a bottle of whatever she desired.
Okay, and for the price of 2 of those, how much was the gold cost?
10 gold.
Okay, 10 gold in total? Or each?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, each.
Okay, thank you. I want to make sure I buy 2.
Yeah, this is some expensive alcohol you're getting for
Yeah,
her.
I figure.
The good shit.
She's not going to appreciate it.
No, of course not, but you know what?
I did ask for a certain percentage. I wanted a high percentage, so I do appreciate it.
She bought you a giant bottle of rubbing alcohol.
Oh, God.
100%.
You got Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. She's not having glue in the back.
Oh god.
Rashida not only has a new thing of bacon for her, she also slides over the 2 bottles towards the bacon.
Still very excitedly. What kind of top does the bottle have? Is it like a cork or a
That's a cork.
cork?
But, give me a history check.
I have just plus 1 on history.
Price I paid
So
for
10.
information.
10?
Mhm.
It reminds you vaguely of your homeland or your hometown.
Oh. Nil feels a rush and pang of deep sorrow fill her body. And as nostalgia hits her, and she kind of flips out a dagger from her pocket, dabs the cork, yanks it out, and just drinks very quickly.
Rashida like jumps with the dagger taking out and everything, like just terrified that she's gonna get stabbed even though she's done everything she's asked to do. And then when it just goes into the cork and she just pulls that out, she's like
And after Nil has slugged probably about like that much alcohol, finally like
Done.
down, she just hits it onto the table and says, it just looks very sad and forlorn and says, "Thank you. That was haven't had that one in a long time. Thanks for that, Rashida. You've done a good job."
I'm sure you've done one as well.
Well, I have. I've found out some interesting things. And she just kind of snaps into some bacon. I'm gonna look around to it. Does it look like anybody is listening to us?
No, not for the moment. Like, those that were asleep when you walked in, they've kind of vacated for now. And it's just the average Joe coming in for breakfast at this point.
Okay. So, Nil is going to pass along what she noticed, but trying to be kind of quiet because not really knowing where any of the members of the Thieves Guild are, kind of shaken from somebody seeing her, and doesn't really know who to trust in the town. So she's going to impart her wisdom upon them of everything she saw. Wisdom. I give you wisdom while I drink.
Yeah, I give you some drunken wisdom.
Whiz.
Whiz.
So basically, it's sitting there up at that mountain. I don't know if it's going to go somewhere else from there. I don't really know who lives there, but I do know that the City Thieves Guild is watching it very closely.
Huh.
And we want to know who lives there, right?
Well, it would be helpful so we could know if either the Thieves Guild are protecting it for them, seeing if anybody's watching it, if they're an enemy of the Thieves Guild, or if maybe they're going to pass it along to somebody, or if they're the final owner. I don't know. I don't know who lives there. But
An idea.
I did. And Nil kind of thinks to herself for a moment as she kind of like plays with the note in her hand. And she finally just decides, fuck it. Says, I did get an interesting note on my way in.
All right.
I think somebody noticed me. I tried very hard to not be noticed. And I do apologize for that. But somebody did notice me and passed along a message. And it said to go to the Crab Warren if I want work. Never heard of the Crab Warren. Have you guys?
I don't. Let me for history, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Good.
21.
Holy cow.
Okay, so here's what you know about the Crab Warren. The Crab Warren itself is one of several locations in the city that's really poor lodging, like run-down slums, so to speak. And so the way that the port is built is it's a tiered system because actually the bay is pretty deep. So the port actually had to be built down into the water before they could start making the actual piers and everything. So part of that is there's a lot of structures that were built to accommodate this and actually build the ramps into the actual land where the rest of the city is built. But overall, these tiered portions contain the slums. And so those are actually cut deeper into the mountain because they are still, touching the mountainside itself. So deeper into the mountain, you'll see these slums and everything that actually lead out into the actual port itself. Like, it's pretty easy to get access to, but there are rumors circulating about that there are parts of the warren that, especially the crab and lobster warrens, that may or may not be home to more secret organizations and clandestine meeting places. But you don't know that for sure because these are just rumors. This is just old wives' tales. Nobody knows for sure. But if you were to go looking for probably illicit work, the crab warren would be a good place to start.
Well, it certainly sounds like someone is interested in your talents.
Well, I've had lots of people interested in my talent.
Well,
They did say I was rusty, which I find very offensive, but obviously true because they saw me. Fucking A. But my skills were still salvageable. So they must have been watching the cart as well.
Obviously, yes. I don't know if they're protectional or if they are just simply interested because it's of worth. I mean, obviously, they
Well,
would
I
be
mean,
interested.
why else would anyone be interested?
What?
Other than the money. Why would anyone else be interested other than the monetary value?
I mean, maybe they were sent there to protect it. Who knows?
Well, this Carver sounds pretty awful. I could see people not wanting her to be successful.
Well, I guess the question is,
I missed
we go to
all
the
of
crab
that
warren?
because you guys are coming in really choppy.
Oh.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. That's okay.
do you guys think we should go? Or maybe I should just go. You keep sending me off by myself.
Well, actually, I had an idea. One of the things we do for the temple is, you have to raise money. Part of what we do is sell the weapons we make. I'm not above going door to door to try and, share the good news of Morden and his fine weapon crafting.
So you mean going door to door?
But primarily that door.
All right. I mean,
And if you like, we could maybe disguise you to look like... No, you're gonna hate that. Never mind. I'm not gonna...
a dwarf or a cleric.
Not a dwarf. You'd never pass for one.
A
But a
cleric.
cleric. I think we put you in the right get-up. You could pass for one. I don't know. You'd have to be quiet.
They're gonna know it's a fake from the get-go. I mean, we're going into the slum. We're not part of a thieves guild.
Oh no, not for the Thieves Guild. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about...
Oh, the mansion.
Yeah, the mansion in the mountain. The thought of...
I don't
having
know if
a-
everybody wants to hear the word of your God door to door.
Honestly, most people don't. And I don't mind that. But
it could be
it's a good way to...
Yeah.
It's a good way to find out.
I mean, oh, the thought of having to be a cleric. What do you think, Akima?
Well, she's got her mouth full of bacon at the moment. I mean, why don't we go check out the crab warren?
I'm kind of curious about the crab warren.
As am I. I'm very curious to see exactly what it is that they're seeking
That's
from
true.
you at this
Yeah, and they may have the information that we would be able to get by looking into the...
Especially if they're the same individuals that, if they are, I don't know if they are, but if they are, there might be a given reason as to why they're searching for the same thing as we are.
The thing is, if we do that, just as I would have to dress as a cleric to go door to door, you guys are going to have to be Just a little tougher.
I mean, we'd have to meld in with the crowd. We would have to not look the way we do. And I have no problem with
Yeah.
that.
Wrong with the way I look.
There's
The
nothing.
way you look is wonderful. It's just not slummy.
It's not going to sell them the idea of what you're proposing that you are.
You don't look clandestine. Yeah. You don't
Well-
look easy. You look very wholesome, Falcon.
But
I know the words are kind, but I know the heart behind them is not. But you're growing on me for as much as I resent you. And I'll do it.
I mean, we don't have to make you real slummy. I'm not saying let's tarnish all of your armor. It's very nice. Maybe let's get you like a taxed robe. Or, I don't know. Just
I could wear something different. I've been wearing the highest quality armor for too long, if I may say so. So I suppose I can have some fun with that. Yeah, that'll be good.
we're literally gonna go slumming it. So I guess-
Exactly.
we're going to walk in someone else's shoes.
I'm sure there's some hobos lying around past out in the gutter still early. You can just take some of their clothes.
I mean, I have my old clothes underneath my leather armor, so I don't really have to. She's got that really slummy shit that she's been wearing since the first time you guys found her.
She looks kind of slummy, doesn't? I mean, she has the leather armor, but it's over some tattered ass clothes,
It really,
right?
yeah. It's. I mean, like it looks
I
like
think
she.
you're fine.
Yeah, she doesn't. She's good.
I think
She looks like
I
shit
think she's
already.
probably good. What about Akima? How are Akima's clothes?
I mean, she's dressed
Bard,
pretty
so-
well off for a bard.
So we need to get Akima and Falcon. We need to help them plummet.
Oh no.
Time for the girly makeover scene. The
I do like
montage.
that whole montage.
Throw mud at your
Going
face.
downtown, walking fast. Yeah.
Throw dog shit flops all over your armor.
The scene where I try on a bunch of things and go,
Yes. And then you come up with the one, and like all of us are just like
And then-
yes.
yeah.
So, I guess you guys need to settle up with your nice lovely dwarf lady, and we'll go find you some more padded, appropriate clothing.
All right.
Does it make you happy to know you're just inappropriately Falcon? By being just too appropriately.
I don't know.
Don't give her anything more
You'll
to
get there.
existential crisis
I-
over.
I just know what the task is, and we'll just get it done.
I'm sure in here somewhere we're doing something good.
I
I don't really care if we are, but I'm sure we are.
I think the only thing that keeps me going is the hope that some part of this is morally good.
Well, if you believe your God loves you that much, then I'm sure he wouldn't put you into, bad company. I don't know why I'm here, but
Let's go find some clothes.
And that is where we will end it for tonight.
Woo.
oh, that's fun. I like this. I like these characters a lot.
I'm actually like I feel like from the first session I have officially like put on Rashida's shoes. And like I'm able to like understand her personality a little bit, because like the first game I was so quiet because I was just like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, exactly. And now I'm just like, okay, all right, I get this girl. I know what she's about. Food.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
I love that she's so motivated by food.
Right though. Yeah.
We all have our motivators. Falcon is her god and weapon. Nils is clearly just alcohol and money.
Yep.
And you are motivated by food.
all of the key motivators are represented here.
I mean, really, yeah.
I mean, honestly,
Except for
Together we're
lust.
one whole
honestly,
person.
that's like what led her to this stinking adventure to the first place. Is freaking food. Akima's just like, you want some food? And she's like, fuck yeah, I
Akuma fed the cat, and the cat refused to go away.
do.
God.
You feed it once, it comes back.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I like getting to be a rogue again. I like
Yeah.
stealthing.
It's
And not
interesting
caring.
playing a lawful character.
Right?
So lawful.
Because there are so many things,
Art.
right? And I feel like every game I've ever played has been like chaotic good, you know. And now it's like we have to do the right thing always.
And I love that because like even like when we were arguing with that one guy about the bribery, like the whole time Rashida's just like, you know, she's got the wisdom to know to just give the guy the fucking money so he can shut up. But you're just like, no, I will not.
No.
I'm here to make this harder for everyone.
I swear to God,
I love-
Rashida was like ready to fucking melt from like terror about the fact that we were just gonna fuck
I
her up.
love how all of these characters mix together because they're so different.
They are though.
They don't belong together, but somehow they
Also,
do.
they need each other in some weird way.
Goodness. Yeah, it would be funny to see this party meet up with our
Oh my
waves
God.
of time
I feel like
party.
I mean,
I feel like Bill and stuff would probably have fun together in a weird way.
right though.
we can
Bill
make
and
it
Lana would
work.
probably have fun.
Yeah, that could. If it were to happen, I'd be pretty
I
stoked.
feel like
Crossover
I
episode!
feel like Ping and Nil would have Ping would have so many questions about Nil.
If
So
anybody
many.
ever thought that was a bad influence on thing, welcome Nil.
Falcon would just hang out with Soanimus.
Oh no.
Sal and her would get along so well.
They can commiserate.
Lana might get along well because they're so serious.
Well, I think Lana and Nil, once you start talking about money,
Oh yeah, once you start talking about money, Lana
Oh,
and
yes.
Nil would fucking. Oh yeah, they talk
Nil?
it out.
Nil would be the only force that could like take Lana and Seth out on the town and force them to both have a good time.
Oh God.
I
Oh
think
my
that actually
goodness.
is true. I think that
Yeah, that'd
actually
be
could
very true.
happen.
oh my gosh, clubbing with our D&D characters.
Oh my god.
We're so cool. I ain't mad. I love it.
That would be dope as fuck, actually.
That'd be so fun.
I would love to see Nil's reaction to Valimar.
Oh my god, right?
Or through him and go, alright.
I feel like Nil and Kahame could get into some serious pranks.
Oh, some serious
Yes.
trouble too. Holy fuck.
Nil would bring out the worst side of Kahame.
Oh my god, she would.
He'd be like, let's go.
It would totally help him get dressed up in drag.
Oh my god.
Anything.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. 100 times yes.
Yes. Goodness. And I think he would enjoy reading Rashida's pamphlets.
Oh, I think
Yeah.
she would be passing
Yeah.
those out. She'd have fun with that.
He would love all of Rashida's multitude of pamphlets.
Yes.
Mhm.
That'd be fun.
I hope that's a thing where you just have like an infinite amount of pamphlets in your bag. that you just whip out at any given time.
He wrote
It's
like
like
a
fling
D100.
pamphlets all over the place.
Every god, every cult, even if it's evil, she has it.
And that, I
She did
think,
a lot like reading.
I mean, I just envision Rashida just an individual who has a curiosity of faith, and that is about it.
Mhm.
that's how Seth feels about death.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
She'd have
probably
have
find some common
pamphlets on
ground.
Sedna too, I'm sure.
I think would terrify sorcery. Way more than Nil does.
I think Falcon would respect her love for Sedna.
That's true. They would at least have common ground over their
Yeah.
god.
And
Yeah.
Falkrin has a bit of that temper lying beneath where she is thirsty for blood on her blades.
I do like that she really wants some blood on her. But I'm eager to see Falcon in Shadow.
I'm eager to just see character development, man. Like, it already feels
Yeah.
like there are opportunities for character development.
I
Nil
want
is the best version of Nil there is.
Is there,
between
though?
her and Kahame, I'm on purpose always.
Always.
I'm the best
Make that
version of
shirt.
myself.
That shirt needs to be made.
I like a mess, but this is all on purpose.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness.